Yahoo!
Well,
this is Michelle.
This is Ken.
This is Mike.
And this is Rich.
And this is Manwich.
Where's that noise coming from?
You remember that band, don't you?
No.
That was your favorite one back in the day, remember?
What was it?
AFI.
No, never heard of them.
Miss Murder? You know you like that song.
I never heard of them.
Yeah, you were hearing it yesterday and the day before.
And
20 years ago.
So I like that intro with Mel Gibson. That is such a good movie.
That was a great ass movie, man.
Heck yeah.
You know, it's like, it's like it's just like Braveheart though. Like he's riding the horse.
Braveheart was good. I like that show.
Pumping
that
up.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. It's so crazy that you would have Mel Gibson as your
I'm a giant.
intro there, because a fast fact, he's going to be coming up in the news hot and heavy soon. This is real shit. He is dropping a documentary on child trafficking.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really good because, you know, he has zero fucks in his pocket.
Yeah, and he dropped out of that whole Hollywood scene.
Well, he was the one that started talking about babies being like, what did he say? Diamond encrusted caviar steak. That's what it was. Diamond caviar steak. Babies.
That sounds
in
like
Hollywood. Gross.
What did he mean by that though? Like, you know, being sexually abused or eaten? Because I've heard of that.
They eat them like sandwiches.
You know, you think about it. Okay, he did Braveheart, right? And he did The Patriot, and he did the Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Like he's done these movies that have been, you know, they're inspirational.
Oh, and Hollywood hates him. They hate him.
Oh yeah, especially when he made that movie about the Lord carrying that cross and all that kind of stuff like that.
That's what Richie just said about Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Where were you?
They didn't like him.
Uh-oh.
No.
Yeah. And then he was going to make another movie.
Oh, who is this?
And he shut him down.
Incoming
They're supposed to
transmission.
be
Hello,
a new
you
guy
have a
that
prepaid
calls in,
call
so-
from
Thomas Allen.
But that's
an
not
inmate
it. That's
at
not it.
Racine Correctional Institution. Your account balance is $18.50. All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
What's up, Tommy? Talk to us, baby.
What's going on?
Celebrating, having a monster.
Yep.
I hear you.
Monster, super hot. Stinks where we're at. Where I was at in Oak Creek, it smells like old hamburger or some shit. Stinks, man. Smells bad, dude. Usually it smells like a sewer. Usually when it's hot, it smells like a sewer. But this time it smells like it's like old beef rotting away.
Oh.
We come over on this side.
It is
smells
definitely
good over here.
humid. Definitely humid.
Ooh.
It's definitely human.
Well, at 7 o'clock. Hey,
What?
at 7 o'clock, my Birmingham Stallions play the championship game against Pittsburgh.
I tell you what.
If they win, what?
I was just gonna say, when you're done, when you talk about what you're gonna say right now, let everybody know a little bit about yourself in sports. How you're a sports fanatic when it comes to Alabama.
Oh, yeah, of course. We're the number one damn college football team ever.
What was that?
We won more national championships than anybody.
Isn't their team the Alabama Losers or something like that?
Alabama Slammers.
No.
What?
Alabama Crimson Tide.
Oh,
Roll Tide.
that sounds like clean your clothes with that stuff. Crimson Tide.
Tide.
Huh?
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it's a red
It sounds
tide.
like that smelled good.
That usually kills
Would that
everything.
smell good, that name?
Tide.
And then in USFL football, United States Football League, I've been following Birmingham Stallions because they're from Alabama.
Yeah.
They play the
That's
championship game
That's
tonight at 7 o'clock.
Did you ever try to put
How many
bets?
college games are them? That's not college, is it?
No, that's for people that are trying to get back into the NFL.
Dude,
Oh,
tell
yeah,
him what it is though. It's the United States Football League.
Yeah,
Did he say that?
that's what
already?
they're trying to.
Isn't out too now. It's your turn.
No, because I was asking if you can grab me that Trump hat. I got a Trumper hat up there. I can't reach it. It's right on the rack,
So,
right in the middle.
so it's people that didn't make it to the NFL, or people that fell out of the NFL that are trying to get back into the NFL.
Oh wow.
Dude, they
didn't
brought
know
they brought the United States Football League back. That was in the 80s. And
Yep.
I talked to a guy, right, who had tried out for the the USFL or whatever, the United States Football League in the 80s, and he told me about how it rivaled the NFL. It nearly, he said, he made it sound like that it nearly took out the NFL.
I feel like it would be more exciting to watch.
If they had
They
other
still have
football,
something
they
more
had
to prove.
Canadian Football League. People are joining
Nobody's
that.
watching the Canadians. I'm sorry,
Not
unless
no
they're
more.
playing
Not no
hockey.
more. No, they used to watch them.
That's because they're all dead.
You know,
They all stood in line and got euthanized.
Warren Moon, he went to the CFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian football.
Yeah, he racked up like, I want to say he racked up like 60,000 passing yards in total
Yeah, right.
between
yeah.
the
I heard
NFL
about that.
and the CFL. He was a good quarterback, but of course he didn't win a ring.
No.
They got a lot of people that were famous in the NFL that came out of the USFL.
Yep.
Now eat all your gummies.
They got
I really don't.
they got a Wisconsin
Is that for
Badger
the show?
quarterback that plays.
Yeah. A Wisconsin quarterback
No.
played for.
Yeah, he plays
Seattle.
in the USFL. I can't remember his name, but he played last year for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Oh, hey, Alabama, dude, you served
Yeah.
you served our country, like my brother and my
Yep.
stepdad.
Yep,
So how
for
about
almost
you tell,
7 years.
how
That's
about
some
you?
good high-speed stuff right there.
Yeah, how about you tell the viewers, man, tell the viewers about your military background.
Well, I used to do the training in El Paso, Texas. I went to Fort Jackson to do my basic training
That's
and
where I went.
completed that.
That's where I went.
Oh, so you were in the
Oh,
army
really?
then?
Yeah, I was in Fort Jackson.
Yeah,
Yeah, super hot, man.
So Alabama, you were in
Yes,
the army?
yeah, the Army National Guard.
Oh, okay.
We get trained. We get trained the same way the Army does.
They had different.
And we do the same thing reserves do. We're part time, just like reserves. But we also, the Army National Guard does so much. Is the number one supporter, or is the number one people that does so much for the United States right here in this land, like insurrections and riots and weather elements and controlling drugs and shit and all kinds of other shit. So National Guard does a hell of a lot of shit, man, for this United States. So yeah.
Sweet stuff, man.
Did you go into special training?
No, I just went through the basic training that
Did you go to
I completed
AIT?
the
What
basic
was
training.
that? Did you have AIT?
Yeah, AIT, that's the basic training and the
Advanced.
MOS training,
Yeah.
Advanced individual training.
right?
Because then I went to.
And then I had the
It reminded
then
me of
I had my
Wisconsin
MOS.
home.
You didn't have to do nothing else. Nothing. Just basically this basic training, right? And then your
Yeah.
your MOS.
Yeah, 63 Bravo, light wheel diesel mechanic. We worked on Humvees, deuce and a half, which is 2.5 ton trucks and 5 ton trucks and big ass generators that power storm shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember them generators. There's like we worked on 2 different ones. There's like a big ass one, and I never touch it. And the other one, I never touch it either because I don't fuck with electricity.
There was one and it was big, and there was another one and it was big.
Yeah, it was bigger than the other one,
You
man.
don't even say, what is it?
Dude, a generator. That's what I said. 2 big generators. One bigger one, and then one bigger than that one. And I didn't touch any of them. because I don't touch electricity other than that when I was a kid.
That's because you kept sticking your finger in between the thing. Am I getting it in the hole?
What thing is that? What do you tell us what you're talking about?
And you plug it in
The
with your
prong
finger.
of what?
Of the plug.
Yeah, with the finger touching it, and then my thumb would be on part of it, and I plug the thing in. Beep.
Make sure you're getting it in the
Or
right
electric
spot.
fence at Grandma Harvey's house, the electric fence with our ponies, and then we crawl underneath, and then boom, accidentally hit the back of your head on there,
Hell no, your butt would hit
or
it.
the butt, or your
You
back.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
We went. My family. My dad's from Kentucky, so he's just fucking crazy. But we went and visited the farm where they're on, and there was tall grass around the bottom of the damn fences where the cows were. Well, they had a fucking electric line at the fucking bottom of it, and it was covered with grass. So I had to go take a piss, right? And I had my family right behind me. I had my back turned to them. I went to take a piss, and my damn stream hit that fucking electric line and went straight up my damn stream of my piss, through my penis, hit my fucking balls. It's like somebody kicked me right in the fucking nuts, man. I was like, oh, shit. And my fucking family and relatives were fucking rolling and laughing their ass off. And I'm like, damn, that shit ain't funny, bro.
You know what? You know what? When you get hurt on the farm, it's like twice as funny, dude. It's twice as funny. You know? It
That
is.
shit, I didn't even know it was there, though, because the grass was so thick and tall right there at the bottom of the fence. I didn't even see that shit, man. You know how you see that insulation, the ceramic insulation shit that's screwed into the post,
Yeah.
and they had the wires going through it?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Usually it's up at the damn top, you know?
I had a neighbor
Oh, my
that
God, they
pissed
were
on
rolling.
one.
They were
He was just
laughing
a little
their
kid.
ass off.
A little kid peed on one. He was just a little kid, and he pissed on it.
All calls other
he
than
got-
properly placed attorney calls
he got
may be
slammed.
monitored and recorded.
He danced around. So I took a stick. I grabbed it and grabbed it. It was bad. He was dancing, crying, and everything.
Oh, my brother Mike, he'd go up to it, he'd touch it with his finger like this. Oh, and I was like, what are you doing? And grab some dirt and throw it against the fence. There, yeah. If it goes, it's on. Just throw dirt on it.
That's funny.
Yeah. Your biggest clue is anytime something's going on, what did the elders always tell you? Rub some dirt in it, right? There you go. Just throw some dirt on it.
There you go.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So my dad and my mom, before they had the kids, they had a German Shepherd, and it was run off the electric. You know how you can go inside the house and hook the
You
box
had an
up.
electric
and then,
dog?
Shut up.
No,
Oh.
that was the electric fence.
Oh. Oh, man, I thought you guys
So
had
the
an
dog,
electric
so the German Shepherd can sense or smell or whatever the hell. He can sense when the damn pulsation goes off, and he would jump the damn fence.
You say
And
your dad
then
is from
they called out
Kentucky?
the fuck.
You said your dad is from Kentucky?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's crazy
do
as
they
shit.
got-
Caneyville, Kentucky.
Do you got a lot of hills there?
What?
A lot of hills.
Oh, I have no idea.
Then he's not a ridge runner.
He was from Caneyville, Kentucky.
Stupid.
Is that a movie?
Oh, man.
Did you know if you're in Kentucky, this is a real rule. This is a real law. If you're in Kentucky and you are a single male man, you cannot own sheep in Kentucky. That is a law.
I know.
Wow. What's going on out there?
I'm serious.
Leave them animals alone.
You know
That
why?
shit was so funny.
You know why you
Goddamn.
don't
That
have
shit
it?
is so funny, bro.
Use your hand.
So funny to me. Yeah. For a little danger, use the stranger.
You go somewhere and all of a sudden the sheep starts chasing you down. It's like, dude, what the hell's going on? What the fuck's going on?
You start looking at them and you start like, hey, doesn't that one kind of look like Junior over there? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, just fight that. Stop.
What's going on? You were there, huh?
His mother was a
Hey.
sheep.
Hey, but back to that.
Yeah.
Hey, but back to that electric fence story.
Yeah.
That damn German Shepherd, it was a pulsating fence, So that German Shepherd could smell if it was on or off, and he could tell when it was off, and he jumped the damn fence. Well, then some reason the police were called out, and there was a fucking deputy. He was like fresh on the job, and the fucking sheriff made him fucking grab the goddamn electric fence and said, "This is what an electric fence fucking feels like." I'm like, "Are you?" When my dad told me that shit, I was fucking rolling, man. I was like, "You dumb." I'd be like, "The hell I do that shit."
Why would you grab it? You could just
dumbass
rub it
deputy.
with the back of your hand. Because you grab it, it's gonna grab.
I know.
Real tight.
That's why you just throw some dirt on
Stupid,
it.
right?
Eh?
I mean, if you had common sense, you know not to grab electricity, a wire.
Yeah.
You'll take the back of your hand and do it because
Oh, man.
electricity automatically makes your muscles contract. You know what I mean?
Blast off.
Hey, let me ask you this: when you got in your trouble there, did you use a military lawyer?
No, but they,
You-
you know
you
they do
could've-
have a military.
You could have used
They have
them.
a military court around here
Yeah, you
that
could have.
helps out. I heard to help out civilians.
Yeah, they would have helped you out. The military, the lawyers there, it would look a lot better for you if you went with them because everybody look, hey, this dude's in the military and all this kind of stuff like that, you know, and so they cut you slack.
Well, hell,
But if you got
if I was in Mobile, Alabama,
yeah,
if I was in Mobile, Alabama, my officer, oh shit, what the hell was he? He was a high-ass officer, but he had been an Army National Guard. His civilian job was a damn lawyer. I'm like, damn, dude's like 991 miles away from me, man. I don't even know if he's still alive. That was like 20-something years ago. I've been out of the military since 2002.
Well, that was a long time ago, man. A lot of things changed there.
Time
I heard.
flies.
I heard that the military changed a lot now.
yeah.
I heard that they're apologizing to those people that left and they gave all those fucked up what is that when you're discharged, a dishonorable discharge
Oh, give them
for
the
not
chicken-
taking the
The shot.
The
You
chicken
know.
dinner. Yeah, people
yeah,
didn't
for
want
not
that.
taking
They don't
the
want
chicken
that.
dinner.
People didn't want that shit, man.
Yeah, they're getting apologies.
I'm glad
asked
there's
to
people
come
that stood up
back
and didn't want it because dude, that stuff. I know a lot of people and they got that shit and they're all fucked up. And the ones that ain't, dude, I don't know, man.
You know, to
Maybe
be
they didn't
honest,
get the right one, or
you
maybe
go
they weren't
in
sick enough,
and
or maybe they were
you
too
know
well.
this because it's happened to you. When you go into the military, you get a bunch of shots. You don't know what that is. You're
Nope.
just signing a bunch of people.
Nope.
I know, yeah.
Just signing a
there
bunch
are.
of
That's what
people.
happened
They
to
could've given
me.
you
Yeah.
that COVID
Poke,
shot
poke, poke,
a long
poke.
time ago.
Here
It
you
just
go.
didn't kill you yet.
I've
You
been
get
shot. They give me
that.
all kinds of shit, man.
Some gene splicing
You've
shit
been
to
there.
make your kids
It's a little
drool.
gun. It's a little gun.
And
And
the-
they got like 5.
Yeah, and they gave it to us with that air gun.
And they, yeah,
I
you
heard-
put it on,
I heard that they make clones.
Look at 'em.
They make clones of some of the people.
For the super
Damn.
soldier. They were just
Yeah.
talking about that on MK Ultra.
Like me, I think they did. They liked it me. Because I'm that size, that medium size, that 100 some pounds.
You wouldn't qualify
that
because
stuff.
you don't fuck with electricity, and that was part of it.
Yeah,
is
but
that they
see,
were
that's the thing.
taking
The clone
No,
doesn't know.
they were taking
the clone
electric-
would not know.
brother. They were taking electrical eels,
Mm-hmm.
and they were zapping them and shit like that, and getting them all charged up. And they were trying to see, if they could do something like that to humans, so they could just like get these humans. They could just like zap you like like one of the
stun gun.
X-Men.
It'd be like the human stun gun.
Oh my God, you said stun gun. I just watched the most amazing show on TV. Alabama, I don't know if you guys do you guys get to watch TV if you want to? Are you?
In the day room.
I
You
don't
got
know.
day room?
Yeah, I got my own TV. I got my own TV, my own radio, and my own tablet.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know if you have access to it, or if you like Star Trek. But I just watched Star Trek Picard, the 3rd season.
All
and
we have is
Calls
super
other
amazing.
than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
all we get is digital antenna. We don't get damn cable TV or satellite. Even though there's a lot of damn prisons that do, and all they had to do is charge everybody just 25 cents out of their $4 state pay that we automatically get. All they had to do is just take a quarter out of everybody's damn shit, and we could have had damn cable TV. I mean, a lot of damn prisons have cable TV.
Yeah.
But are there prisons in Wisconsin that have cable TV?
Well, I know the jail
there
did.
is.
Kenosha jail had it.
Well, that's a jail.
They got it up by Boston area, up on the other side of the L's there. There's a prison there. I can't remember the name of it. It's the glass prison. And
I know West Virginia the prisons have it.
they got cable, but it's censored cable. I mean, you don't get what you want to watch. It's what they want you to watch.
Well, you know what? I'm just bringing it up because I'm going to tell you a fast Star Trek fact. Want to hear it, guys?
Yeah.
So Next Generation actually predicted a lot of the future because they did, because we weren't doing it back then when they were on TV 30 years ago, because it was like damn near 30, 35 years ago now, or 30 years ago or so. Right, Mike?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Like 1988, I think is when
there was no internet. Barely anybody even had like a phone in
There
their
was a
house.
Commodore 64 and Apple IIe's and shit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and they had video talking. They had computer, and we say Google now before we say it. And you know what else? They had tablets. And I was watching one the other day, and I was like, oh yeah. You know how many aluminum reusable cans that people use now to drink their water out of? Those cups.
Aluminum's not good for you.
Aluminium.
Aluminium's not good for you.
No, it's not.
And the dust is bad too.
Hey, I'm saying it the proper way. That's the proper way of saying it. Only Americans call it aluminum.
I'd rather say a foot and half a foot and 25.
I call it aluminium because I never said it right. And the moment I said it right, people said I was saying it right.
And then the weight, 153 pounds. I understand that. When they say kilos or kilograms or whatever they're talking about, I understand what they're talking about.
You know that America's the only nation that uses the pound system.
Yeah.
And the inches, and
it makes more sense to me.
We're the only ones that drive on the right.
Some of the highways.
1 minute remaining.
Oh, man, I'm pretty historic. Unga bunga.
Mexico.
Captain Caveman.
Tijuana.
Hey.
Now we're at, not Tijuana, not whereas.
I'm tasting the rainbow right now. Some Skittles.
That was in kilometers.
We got less than a minute left for Alabama here.
Hey, what's the phone lines like? Are they busy?
Yeah.
Well, let's see if you can get back in line, man. See if you can get back in line.
Dude, my band Birmingham Stallions come on at 7 o'clock, bro.
No, get back in line, man. Get back in.
He's like, not missing my game.
Enjoy your game, buddy.
I mean, football's going to be over with, but then the real football's going to be on in a month and a half.
Yeah.
But this is a championship game, man. This is like the Super Bowl, man.
Well, this is the 4th of July special, man.
Yeah, and we need you.
Yeah.
Uncle Mike needs you.
Not Uncle Sam, but Uncle Mike.
Yeah, Uncle
That's
Mike.
right, we need you now. Once again, we're calling. Can you feel it deep inside? The calling.
You got to point to the camera when you do it.
The calling. Where's the camera? Right here? Do you hear it? The calling. It's calling.
There's one right here. There's one right there.
They called me. I could feel it, dude.
Where's
like
your
there was something
camera,
that said,
Richie?
"Hey, you need to go here."
We share.
Are you sharing?
Yeah, we had to share.
Wow. Holy cow,
sharing?
you're share her.
Me and Richie share the couch.
Yeah.
Dude, I want some hairy thing on here, dude. It's all bald. I don't like that. I want some hair.
But you're my.
It's like a dick.
Well, but see, like each
That's
mic.
right.
Metal
That's right. I saw your mouth going.
I was riding on.
You slurped it.
And you got the Tin Man's tin right there.
Yeah, get that ball sack out of there.
Richie, they got women's suits for men.
Tuckies.
Yeah, they're tuck-ins.
Yeah, tuck your stuff in there.
Yeah.
Hold on, women's suits for a dude to tuck his genitals.
Yes.
Oh, they're swimsuits.
To hide the dicky.
Generally.
And in your ball sack.
Sounds like it's very important.
You didn't want you to just say, "Hey, look, I'm a guy."
Okay.
Be one.
But could you imagine?
Dad.
You want to try them?
Wait.
I'll buy you a pair.
Can I tell you
Yeah,
guys?
give me a pair.
What size kids?
I can.
Clothes do you wear?
12. At 12.
So I can imagine.
You
how
can
that-
or can't?
I can. Because I know that
You
would
got a horrible
make me
mind.
feel so fucked up. If I went to go buy a bathing suit and it had like an extra thing there for some balls I don't even have.
Yes.
It would make me feel like, oh my God, did I
It's
buy
a pussy
the wrong,
warmer.
Did I buy the wrong swimsuit? Did I buy the wrong swimsuit?
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh my goodness, do I
Do I
need
have a dick and balls?
I need, do I need balls now?"
Yeah, man, that's bad.
Okay.
That's bad.
You know what? We can talk about something that's very serious right now.
That is serious.
The
I'm
rise in testicular cancer for women has
Oh, yeah.
gone up.
Yes, I heard about that. I read that a bunch of
The
times.
rise
It
in
wasn't just one
testicular.
paragraph.
Oh,
And
okay.
women.
I get
That
it.
is some good stuff.
Yeah, I know it. You got to read about that.
Them poor women's balls.
Yeah.
Dude,
I hope they pat them up and warm them up.
that's all I'm
and
going to say about that.
Rest them.
It just would make me feel.
Make them balls humble.
Oh, here's a story about, you want to talk about about this guy got married, right?
He got married to what?
It was a fox, really cool. I mean, real nice looking, and that. But as they're going together, they never had sex because she was always scared to have sex with him,
How long were they married for before?
But I'm getting to that.
All right.
Now, they were just going together. And then they got married. And about the third month in there, he says, I feel really funny, having sex with you because I got a penis. He said, what? He married a trans and put off as a female for all those years. And into that time, 3 months into their marriage, and find out.
How confusing for everybody.
Well, at least he had time to bet. You said for how long it was? How long did they put off the sex for?
3 months.
For 3 months. See, he's still good because he could back out of that marriage and not have to worry about it, nice and clean. Because 6 months, it's
But
like
how long were they
everything.
dating for?
I don't know.
He never reached down there to or anything.
Imagine
You know what?
not.
Some people, when
I guess
did.
not. I guess
Already
not.
did.
Hey,
Yeah, when you're
everybody's,
saving-
not
saving
everybody's
it
like
for
me, huh?
marriage, yeah.
Fucking pervert.
Here, you
I'll
can
seen if you had a
Look,
dick back then too.
No, this is probably when they're like, oh no, I'm saving it for marriage. Okay, but I'm not. So can you use your hand on me then? I won't touch you, but can you touch me? Hey,
Oh, here's a story.
I don't know. Stop.
You know,
You made
news-
me think of
News, right? How news
Story time.
Oh, you got a
fabricate
story?
things. They tell you.
Yeah.
They tell you what they want you to hear. Right now, this.
Hi kids, this is your teacher Neri. And guess what? It is our storytelling time. Are you excited?
Yes.
Because I am very, very excited. Me too. So if you are excited, please sit back, relax, and enjoy our story.
All right, here it is.
Let's begin.
Thank you.
Here it is. Now, how the news put things out, and they put it out the way they want you to hear it. Well, this guy was come home from work, and he's pretty tired, but he promised his son he'd take him, little Timmy, to the beach, and he didn't want to really go, but he went. And when he was at home, he hollers out, Timmy, come on, get moving. And the lady heard it. And she called the news and said he was abusing that kid, hollering at that kid. So a news person got a hold of it. Well, they two went out, Timmy and his dad went out to the park there. And little Timmy ran right away into the water because that's what it was all about. He wanted to go in that, so he went in the water. Well, he's sitting on a bench watching his kid. And I was at the newspaper guy, he's standing about 50 feet from him, sitting on another chair, and he's watching. And he opens up a candy bar. And the wrapper, he goes like this and falls, and he went to grab it. He didn't get it. It sat on the ground. 40 minutes went by, he hollered, Timmy. Timmy coming out of the water, and he's shaking, And the newspaper put it out. Little Timmy was so scared that he was shaking. He was so scared, He says, and then his dad asked her if he wanted a candy bar. And the little kid didn't even get the answer, and he ate it right in front of his little kid. And the little kid picked up that piece of paper. When he looked up, The little kid was staring at his dad while he was picking it up. He was just shaking. He got fear. And little kid went over to the wastebasket and threw it in there, right? And the father came up behind him, and he grabbed him by the back of the neck, and then punched or slapped in the back of the head and told him to go. That's what they put out there. The real story is the father was tired. He came home. He just got done working 12 hours, and he was very, very tired. But he promised his kid he would take him to the park. So he took him to the park. And the little kid went out there swimming and having fun. And he opened a candy bar and he went to grab for the candy bar wrapper before he hit the ground, but it was too late. He already hit the ground. He went like this, right? Well, that newspaper guy is sitting there writing this all down. Well, the little kid went to the father says, you know, put his hand on the back of the kid's neck like that, and he's taking his head like that, and he says, "See over there with sand? Go lay in that hot sand. Cool you off. You know, get
Warm
you
you up a
warm
little
up a little bit. You know." And so the little kid was playing about it and did it. You know, and they got home, and in the news, it was on the news about him being mean to his father. But what the real story was, the little father hollered to the little kid to hurry up. Come on, he wanted to get a spot to sit on a bench because it's going to get full. And when he got to the open, the little kid went into the water right away swimming, you know, jumped around in the water. Well, the little kid came out of that water. It was so windy and cold. He was just shivering.
Yeah, it's always
He was
cold out of the
shivering.
water.
Yeah,
was
it's cold. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the kid, with the father saying anything to that kid about anything.
Yeah, you know what
That
that
little
makes
kid
me...
was not shivering from free. He was shivering from being fucking
Changing
cold.
the narrative
Yeah.
on that.
And then
big time.
when about
Perception.
him throwing the thing on the thing, when he snapped that picture, he had his hand going down like he was throwing that wrapper.
Dad, that's called, that's perception.
Yeah, that's really. I mean,
And that's that writer who wrote that. That was his
That's a
truth.
motherfucker.
yeah, I know. Well, check this out.
His truth. That's the truth. You hear when they say shit like that, then you know they're fucking lying
That's
right
not
off the
the end
gate.
of it.
Opinion piece.
That
And
is
everybody
the,
believes it.
here's getting toward the end of it though, right? After it was all, did nothing happen like that. That little kid, he asked the little kid, and the kid said no, so he ate it. And when he put his hand on the back of his head, like on neck, like that, and tell him, you know, showing him where to go. He didn't push him. He just had his hand on him, saying, you know, look over here. You know, that's where you're going to go in the sand over there. And then that was it. Well, when they all come on the news that they wanted to sue that people, so they took him to court and they couldn't sue him because they had the copyright. They couldn't get a copy of it because they had the copyright. The producers got that. That's their copyright. So you're shit out of fucking luck no matter what you look at, something like that.
That makes me think of Black Mirror.
Well, that's, I mean, you know, oh my, that's what the news can do to you. They can either make you famous or make you one of the most rottenest persons on earth.
Yep.
The news
Or they can do both. They can bring you, make you like you're the greatest, and then crush that ass later.
Yeah.
So it all depends on if they
you
like you
follow-
or not. Hey, it's kind of like
Following
Donald
what they
Trump.
want you to do.
It's kind of like Donald Trump. A lot of people love him. Everywhere you go, you'll see, like during campaign again, there'll be so many flags out there. Everybody wearing his apparel and everything like that.
Thousands of people over at them rallies. Huge.
Yeah, oh my God. This dude had empty trucks and they all had their lights on and they're. Anyways, it's all about that story. It's about the perception of who's telling it.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
You see in the blue state, all the Trumpers out there. Oh my God, got a lot of those people pissed off over there, you know, in that state.
Country. It's like a different country, right?
That was Oregon.
Oh, different country for sure.
Oregon.
It used to be the Oregon Trail, hey? I played that game.
Trumpsters, every one of them. I mean, it was just on freaking real. You know?
Yeah, you look on the street and you talk to other people and they're all talking like, "Oh my God, this is crazy," and I think something happened, you know. Meanwhile, something did happen.
Meanwhile,
The red wave they feel coming, or what?
Well, there
All these blue
already
states
was.
Going to become a,
They
well,
just
yeah,
had
I
to
know.
try really, really hard. I watched that.
Going to separate back up.
2,000
North and the
mules.
South again.
I'm sorry, I watched that 2,000 Mules.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I should
And-
watch that tonight. I actually should watch that tonight.
Do you have it?
Oh, watch
I
it.
have it.
Watch it.
I'll
You have
bring
it
it
on
back
what?
over here for you. I have it on DVD.
Oh, I'll just look for it online. I probably find it on this site that I go on. It's got a bunch of bootlegs
Stuff and
stuff.
things, yeah.
But
I highly recommend it. It's like, because when you watch it, it's like when people say, oh, that isn't right, that isn't real, blah, blah. You have to ask them, did you even take the time out to watch? Did you even watch any of it? Just like that, Ukraine under fire. Did you watch any of that, what they did to their own citizens?
Yeah, before I make any kind of
before that?
decision on it, so I want to hear both
Yeah.
sides. I want to hear things and
Instead
stuff
of
to
doing
what's up.
research isn't
I'm
having.
not going to take anybody's word for it just because I have a
Yeah.
feeling. I want to see for myself.
And look at all the different types of views.
Assholes.
Yeah, that's how you put the story together.
Yeah, one piece at a time. They're skipping it around.
You know,
I think he might have liked this instead, and then. Yeah, 2 guns. He only had 1, but they said 2.
what do you got to say about this, Richie? You're looking back and forth, and you ain't, I know you
ping
just
pong
got it
ball.
out of the system. Things didn't change that much.
no, I'm
You know, you
Yeah, airplanes.
I'm just focused on like just the whole
Oh.
audio and the video while you guys are talking. Like I gotta, like when Mike was talking to me before we started, I'm
producer.
like, dude, I wish this guy would just shut the fuck up. I'm like, I know you want to talk it, but I can't. Like I gotta stay focused. That's why I'm like I tell you right now, like I'm trained.
Oh, you're
trained. 'Cause
trained.
you guys were talking too. Not that you were talking to me, but I heard you guys talking, and I know Mike was talking directly to me, and I was just like I was focused. I was game time. Right now is game time too. Like I look, I remember hearing about that there would be a red wave, and then I've heard about like the ballots and all that. The stuff that came in afterwards, and you look at these nations that. I think it happened in Venezuela with the counting machines.
Yeah.
Those are the same
man.
ones that came to America.
It's just some bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Now,
All
listen,
that.
I'll tell you right now. Okay, hold on. I'll tell you. Have you guys ever heard of? I think what's called the hammer. Something hammer. It's what
Arm
the
and
CIA
Hammer.
No, it's what the CIA uses. The CIA.
Yeah, I heard something
Yes,
about
They
that.
used this thing called the hammer. Supposedly they used it when the presidency.
Right.
Maybe not the first time, but the second time. What it does is, it does exactly what the My Pillow guy was talking about.
Because they had those
algorithms,
cyber ninja or
it
something.
changes the algorithms, but it's a software that the CIA uses where it can change the results of elections, and they use it in foreign nations that they want to have their own person represent that nation.
Well, America can't come out and say, "Oh yeah, well we were robbed of our true victor here," because
that was done intentionally. They intentionally
Yes, it
didn't want
was.
him to be right. And to be honest, like if he ran again, and he
they're going to
weren't-
say that they're going to.
How sure you're he's going to win then? It's like
well, that's why
Because when you look at the
Now
map,
everything's mocked. Now
No.
everything's mocked. There is no real elections
Richie.
in this nation anymore, unless you go back to ballot. The credibility of the elections in America is
0.
is forever tainted now. It's forever tainted. Like you never. You could. It's everything that's the things that are done behind the scenes that conspiracy theorists say. Is these things, whether all of it's true or not, which not all of it is true, is now coming to the forefront, and your average citizen is now agreeing that there is something afoot. So it's all said and done, man. You can't. That's just how it is, and it's only going to get worse though. Like now, you're going to see, for instance, agendas being put on the shoulders of Americans. Like you and I were talking earlier about these people getting tickets randomly. Driving, going a little over the speed limit. They don't even know they got a ticket yet because the officer hadn't pulled them over. Now they could be driving, and then when they do get pulled over, they'll get arrested for driving with with a driver's license that's revoked because they've racked up all these points in driving violations that they never knew they had because they could have accumulated in just a 24-hour period.
Yeah. Like I said, remember I said you go from here to California, you're going to pocket
Now-
full of tickets.
Now, when I talked to you on the phone, Michelle, and I talked about that social credit score and that piece I saw on Joe Rogan, experience about numbers. Give an example. Let's say like if the scale was from 1 to 10, right? And if you associate with somebody, it's kind of like credit. Think of it like credit scores, right? Now, But let's say, I'm not saying this is of credit scores, but let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, you start bringing people that are like a 2 to your house, and then it brings your number down. You could be a 9, right? Yeah. Now all of a sudden you're a 7. And like the one guy that was a guest on Joe Rogan's show, he said, hey, don't go bringing no 2s around here. Don't be bringing no 2s. Now, before you know it, like this person could be a decent person, never went to prison. Not that you don't have to be a prison. Not that you got to go to prison to be a bad person.
Just a normal person.
Somebody. It just so happens he's got a low score for whatever reason, right?
He's just unremarkable.
And now he's
just
put
sits
in
at
a
home
class.
and reads books.
Now he's put in a social class. Matter of fact, it's not 3 classes, lower, middle, and upper. Now it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the 2s don't want to hang out with the 1. The 3s don't want to hang out with the 2s. The 7s and 8s may hang around with, but I mean, really, so it taints and it creates classes within classes.
Well, on Black Mirror, there's an episode that's very similar to that, and I have my mom watch it because Mom doesn't know anything.
Did you like it?
She thought about it because I spend Thursdays with her. That's our day. It's mother-daughter day. We be hanging tough. And I show her all kinds of weird stuff, and she's just like, what? When did this happen? When did this start happening? It isn't just like Black Mirror. It's just other stuff, too. Like,
but she can't do nothing about it. She's too old.
She can't, but you know what?
This might be a new guy, by the way.
Okay. No, I'm excited.
Hello?
Hello, you have a prepaid call
It's
from
a woman.
Ryan.
All right, this is a
an
new guy.
inmate at
I'm
Prairie
listening to
View
his story.
Chine Correctional Institution. Your account balance is $17.22. To hear the charges for this call, press 2.
Where's this
All
from?
calls other than properly placed
Scott.
attorney
No, I don't
calls
know.
may be monitored and recorded. Thank you for
Ask him.
using
Ask
IC
him.
Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Hey, what place
Hello.
are you at?
Hello, this is the Manwich Show. Who is this?
Hey, what's going on? This is Ryan Gogansky calling.
Hey, Ryan. This is Mike.
Michelle?
What's going on, Mike?
Ken?
And this is Rich.
Not too much. We're talking to you right now. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm at Prairie du Chien right now. I'm a 6-time DUI offender. I've been communicating with Rich a little bit. I pretty much wanted to get my story of my denied visitations out there, and just like the whole situation with that. Hopefully, someone out there might be able to help or might have an idea of how to go about things with that, because not really going the greatest in here.
Interesting. Kenny, anything?
Oh, UWIs are pretty heavy duty stuff. How long did you get for that? You know, because there's a set limit on that. You know, they can only sentence you on, even if you got 15, 20 of them, they can only sentence you on one. They can't sentence you on every one of them. The only one they can. So,
Yeah,
how many years?
I got 3 years in and 5 years out.
Wow, that's a heavy one. That 5 years out is bad.
Yeah, I'm out of Waukesha County.
Oh, yeah. A little bit different.
That's worse, man, because that's not in Milwaukee County.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
It's a little
Waukesha is
bit
pretty
different.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough group over there in
Yeah.
Waukesha.
But
Cops
really, they can only charge you with one. If you had 100 of them, they can only charge you with one. You can't charge you with a whole bunch of them, you know. And now when you come to the sentencing, they can sentence you from on your first offense, even though you had a whole bunch of them, but this is your first offense going into the system. So actually, you got low score. You got 3. They gave you 3 and 5, right? But that 5 ain't no good. That 5 is a bad thing because that's a setup. That's called a return. You know, the swinging door. I got a cousin that's up in prison right now, and they offered him 5 and 7, and he turned it down. He took 7 years because when he gets out, he ain't got nothing. He ain't got no probation or nothing. You know.
The thing about
Ryan,
Ryan's situation, and I do want you to continue. Ryan's got a fiance, so it's like when he makes these decisions.
Yeah, that 3 years.
affecting
That
someone
3
else.
years. You know, the 5 after. If you got a drinking problem, man, get rid of that shit. You know, because it's going to put you right back there.
Yep, I quit drinking.
Yeah, but they're real petty.
I haven't drank in over 40 some years, And I used to have a real drinking problem. I mean, I drank and drink and drink and drink.
Yeah,
You're
thirsty.
I didn't drink to get drunk. It just came that way.
It's like having a
But
cigarette in your
it
hand.
would turn to everyday thing, every day. Get off work, go get drunk. Wake up in the morning, hangover and shit. Pretty soon you're, back then in my days, you run your car in the ditch, it ain't shit, Cop asked me one time, well, how did you get in the ditch? I said, well, I got so drunk last night. I said, I missed the curve and went in the ditch. The cop said, you get this car out of the ditch before noon or you're going to get a tow ticket. All right. And that was it. I left the scene of the accident. I went home. Lay down, went and got to sleep, and I got up in the morning, went and checked my car, and there the cops were. You had nothing. But nowadays, it's a mortal sin. It's the number 3, on the list. So, but 3 years, I wouldn't even try and get nothing out of it because that's shut your eyes and wake up and you're out.
But another thing too about him, have you ever got ERP before?
No, I've never gotten ERP, and like when I got sentenced, so like the night that I got arrested, I actually tried taking my own life. I had a gun with me, which obviously I'm a felon, and we were trying to go with like my mental health, like that was a main thing, and my judge she was like, you need to sit and sober up. Like, I'm not going to give you a program and let you out early when I know you're going to fail.
You could write to Madison.
I got sentenced 2 days after Daryl Brooks, and she pretty much compared me to Daryl Brooks.
Well, yeah, because you got tied in now because of that. That's the guy with the well, I don't even need to know the name. I'm pretty sure who you're talking about. The guy with the parade who ended up running people over and killing.
I got sentenced 2 days after him.
So but you can write to Madison and ask for it. I've heard of guys when I was in prison, they did that. Like they weren't granted, like what in your situation, very similar, right? It may not have been a DUI, it might have been drug related though, and they ended up getting granted it from Madison. So in other words, Madison superseded or overrode the judge. You got any jailhouse lawyers in there that are good?
I mean, there's some that are good.
Dude, you got Dave. Dave, I'm not saying like he's a jailhouse
Dave,
lawyer.
I was just talking to Dave.
Dave, he if I'm correct, he's good at motions. He might still be in the court proceedings himself because of his own situation. But having said that, I would talk to Dave and see if he can put. Well, for one, I would ask him about the whole thing with the Madison stuff, right? Because his experience, he's been in there for a while now, so he's heard almost every single tale that it could be told. And even if he has nothing, if he's never heard anything like this, there's somebody in there. It's that info is floating around with, and worst case scenario, you could have Dave. Dave may want to, because he put you through to the podcast, so obviously he's got a liking to you. See if he can whip something up, man. Whip up a motion that may go to another judge or something. Maybe that judge is no longer.
All calls other than properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Maybe that judge is no longer there because, dude, you get ERP. I mean, granted, you talk like my stepdad talked about. He said the hookup, right? Because you know how that's going to work. If they gave you ERP right now, and you only been in there, I don't know how long you've been in there, but let's say hypothetically you were in there for only a year, well, then you'd walk out with 7 years of probation because them 2 years that you were supposed to sit in there won't go away. But, like your situation, you're living for 2 right now, and your choices you make are based on not just yourself, but your fiance. So, yeah, those right there would be some good options to check out.
Yeah.
So do the motion. Worst case scenario, but find out word of mouth about Madison. And if somebody knows what I'm talking about, they may have that address and that info. But go carry on, man, because we want to hear your story. Like everybody, when callers call in here, again, they can talk about whatever they want to talk about. And it's your time. It's your time. You're our dime.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it so much. I mean, really, so I have been... like I said, I got my DUI and I attempted suicide that night with a gun. So when I had gotten to Prairie du Chien, I did my application for visiting with my fiance, and it got denied by probation and parole because of text messages that were sent that night of like her trying to save my life, and there was messages, going back and forth. Obviously, I was drunk, not wanting to live, and because of those text messages, I got accused by probation and parole for domestic violence, which isn't even a part of my case. It's nowhere to be found in my court record. There's nothing. I didn't even get charged with it, and I had to write an appeal to the warden. The warden re-denied it, but stated that the whole domestic violence thing was like bullshit because he couldn't even find anything on my police report or anything to do with it. So we've tried to contact probation and parole for the last 2 months, and nobody's returned one single phone call. And I have limited access of like who I can contact, but I've written the ACLU, I've written University of Wisconsin-Madison, I've written the probation and paroles twice. Nobody's contacted back. Grace, my fiance, has called 25 times since April, and they've only returned one phone call where they said that they were going to speak to whoever they needed to speak to, and then stopped returning phone calls. And I don't know what to do. And because of with drinking, both my parents passed away when I was 12 from drinking. All my grandparents died from drinking. I have no family. All of that is a reason of why I was an alcoholic and why I was drinking. I'm a year sober now. Regardless if I'm in here or out there, I'm still proud of it. But I have no idea who to contact. I have no idea what to do in this situation.
Hey, check it out.
I don't.
Your probation officer, she's the one that denied you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what you could do, have you filed a grievance? I forgot those ICEs, whatever they are.
I was told that those grievances would be irrelevant in here because it's a probation thing.
Yeah. You can't. Well, you can't. But you can file. That you can file a ICE. I don't know what the acronym would be for it, but with probation officers, you could file against them.
Yeah, I did. I wrote a letter stating that I wanted a
form, there's a form how you have a form there. There should be a form, and then that would be what you would fill out and mail.
I think in July.
Okay.
I think they're changing the law, the rules about prison, people in prison. People that are in there for 2, 3, 4, 5 years aren't going to be able to go back to prison. They won't even go to prison. If the judge gives you 5 years, they don't want them in prison. They want them somewhere else, So you might be able to get out of there pretty soon because it's supposed to come down in July, I think 22nd, 23rd, something like that, July, that they're going to be changing the process, what the judge can give you, because a lot of people are getting set up. One guy for the same crime, he gets 10 years, and this guy over here did the same crime that guy got, and he only got 3 years. And never been in trouble before. It's identical records, and that's what they're trying to stop that.
But what about the people?
They're trying to stop.
What nationalities were these people? Were they both white people? A white, black one, a white Mexican, 2 white guys?
It makes no difference what color.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Yeah, it does.
Because they're doing it to everybody.
Okay.
They're doing it to everybody.
That's what I was asking.
Because if you think you're white and you're safe, you're not.
No, I wouldn't think I was safe if I was white.
If you're black, you'd feel safe.
Yeah, dude, when you look at statistics, those are the ones that get shot and killed by the cops.
Yeah.
And
honkies.
And they
people.
just let it. And then, they just.
Well,
Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. Nobody knows about it. But
So how's your fiance doing in all this?
Yeah.
I'm sure this is definitely putting a strain on your relationship. Yeah, as Mike said.
Yeah, so my fiance's she's the most amazing person in the world. She's it's hard, obviously. It's not easy. I've seen people break up and divorce being in here. This isn't my first time, but we got a strong relationship, and we say it every day that we're going to get through it. She's 12 years sober. She's a drug and alcohol counselor. She's a Christian woman. She's been a rock. We're both each other's rock. On my good days, I'm there for her. We're there for each other no matter what.
Let me ask you this: since you said she's a Christian, you go to church yourself or no? Like, what are you doing there?
I do.
Yeah, right.
I do. She sent me in some Bible studies. With everything that's happened, I had a tough relationship, with God and everything like that. But there's been some good people in here. My fiance Grace, she's brought me back with it. So I read the Bible every morning. We do Bible studies here. My faith is getting stronger and stronger every day. And it's, as hard as everything's been, we're doing really, really good. And her and I, we've talked about it. If we can't see each other, we're still going to get through it.
Hey, we're going to do a prayer for you. And then, hey, Ryan, if you want, you can get back in. If you can get back in line, man, we'll take your call again. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to talk to you again.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's do a quick prayer.
I enjoy talking to you.
God the Father, in Jesus' name, we come to you in prayer, and we pray for Ryan. We ask God the Father that you would work out this situation that's going on right now with him and his fiance, visitation, and probation and parole. We ask God the Father that you would open that door for Ryan to be able to visit his fiance, Grace, and may you keep that relationship together, God the Father. May you bless us to be a marriage in the making, God the Father. And may your hand be upon this man and continue to draw him to your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name we ask, and we both say amen. We all say amen. Yeah, well, you got some fellow believers here too,
Amen.
So get back in line, man. We'd love to hear from you again. This is a 4th of July special, so we're going to showcase you this week.
Happy 4th of July.
You talk about God and that, I and him, we got our understanding. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything I do, wrong or right, is never to be brought up between us two until the end. Then we'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
I see.
I believe in reincarnation.
Oh, yes. Definitely so. I was a toad at one time.
Somebody licked your back.
No, I was a dog. I
You like to sniff ass.
I was a dog.
Woke,
and eat cat shit.
woke. I'm awoke. Right? You awoke?
It's because it's his last name. Yeah.
Yeah, we're dogs.
Yeah, no.
Actually, we're werewolves.
No, you were.
Yeah, you're.
Well, I'm not human. I'm not
You're
human.
hairy.
You, I think, are humans.
No, Michelle's the lassie.
Where's Timmy?
I'm Rin Tin Tin.
Rin Tin Tin. I'm Benji.
Oh, no, you're that one that went in the back of that car. Remember it got loose? Ooh.
Dude, the one with the rabies.
Yeah.
With rabies.
Yeah.
Cujo. Fuck yeah, Cujo. No, that thing was fucking scary. Dude, I remember I was watching all the scary movies, dude, like Razorback. That movie, dude, with the big ass pig, dude, that boar. That thing was fucking
He ate
nuts.
that guy alive, and he was screaming that he opened up his belly.
Where do he
That
get
was so
those?
scary.
Dude, that was a great movie.
Real strips, little clips of really happening. The people throwing their little kids to the pigs, and the pigs eat. They're real things. Where do they get them from?
Where were you seeing
Who's
this?
taking these pictures? On internet.
Was that delicious?
You look like you're gonna throw up.
I don't know if you were like, you were talking like that, like it was
I'll
yummy, and then you belched.
I'll eat things. I'll eat anything. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, have some Skittles.
Well, anyways, that's how it is.
That's pretty scary, man. You said that stuff. I don't want to think of anything like that.
You keep eating those Skittles.
I know, they're yummy.
I'll tell you something.
They got something in there makes you want to eat more.
I do not let my grandchildren eat Skittles.
Because of the color and what they're made out of.
It's because of the titanium dioxide that's in it.
Right.
That scrambles their DNA and their genes. Just like how many you fucking ate.
Oh my God, shut up.
Yeah.
Why'd you say that before? You're just smiling at me.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
It's gonna fuck your DNA up. Don't eat it.
Oh my God! Slap it out of my hand. It's horrible. What the fuck? I'm out there. Yum 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 yum. I'm eating the fuck out of the damn things.
You know,
I just figured you didn't like it because this was a rainbow
I
shit.
read about that.
yeah, you thought it was something
Oh,
funny.
you read about it too and knew about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
good for
what?
you. I'm gonna wait for
I
you
didn't- I
to
didn't
eat
know
something
that.
or do something that's hazardous.
I
And I'm just
didn't know
gonna
you had-
watch and I'm gonna go.
I did.
You got the double whammy too.
Thank you.
They,
Oh, a double now. The
Because-
wrapper. Okay, what's
it
up?
isn't just Skittles. It's in California, those are outlawed. So Skittles, the red M&Ms.
Oh, yeah.
You said the color red, and then the gummies like gummy worms and stuff, and Sour Patch Kids. So
Little
they all
bears,
have
cinnamon bears.
Yeah, they all have titanium dioxide in them.
Dude, my kids don't eat none of that. Don't eat none of that stuff.
Not only that, when you're eating them Skittles, you don't know if you got one in that's maybe got crystal meth or something.
As though I feel good sometimes.
Hey, they've
Well,
been
you got to be careful
Little
which
kids
corner
been-
store you're buying it
at
from.
home. This little kid was at home, and he ate some of them M&Ms or whatever it was, and it's full of that.
No, it's crazy.
Ecstasy.
No, I hear about these people. They're going through the drive-through and they're getting their meal, and they're getting these drugs in their sandwiches and shit. And I'm like,
Damn, why you don't give me that one sandwich? Throw me a blunt.
dude, be
Holy shit!
a
I'm
smoking
glad
burger.
I looked.
A smoking burger, you know.
That's how I
Like,
transferred cigarettes at the House of Correction. I put it in a plastic, roll it up, the cigarette, roll it up, and put it in a sandwich because they're in the hole, you know. So I put it in there with a couple matches and a little striker and give it to him. Guy would be going around giving a tray and giving it. Everybody had a cigarette.
Aw,
Yeah.
you're a hero.
I ended up getting caught and I almost ended up in that same fucking hole.
Well, at least you're familiar with it. You know what to expect.
Yeah.
Other people are
No
scared.
cigarettes for you.
Yeah. What would you be wrapping them up and putting them then?
they came in inspect, you know how they come in and inspect your place, you know? And they did it in the kitchen with the dog, right? They're trying to find out where these cigarettes are coming from. So they thought cigarettes are in there, you know? Well, they were in there. Where they had this tall fucking bend thing. And I took the carton of cigarettes and I threw it way up on top like that. And they're walking all over. And then
Oh, my.
a month later or so, I had another carton of Camel shorts, you know? So I taped it to the back of the door. So when you open up the door, they look and there's nothing in there. And the dog goes in there and nothing. You close that door, it's still there.
Did you want to laugh at it all? Did you want to giggle
I
at
did. I did.
So I'd want
I
to
had,
snicker or
I
something.
had all my money stuck in turkeys in the kitchen, you know, because I work for Mr. Gibson, the head cook. And I took all the money and I stick it in
Hi,
turkeys.
kids. This is your teacher, Mary. This is my favorite. Guess what? It is our storytelling time. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Because I am very, very excited. So if you are excited, please sit back, relax, and enjoy our story. Let's begin.
Hi, Kenny.
That was technically an accident. I forgot to cut it off. Once it started going, I let it keep
That-
playing.
I liked it a lot every time.
I liked it a lot, too. I was ready for
Hey,
this.
I made over $5,000 in there, and I gave it to my lawyer because I owed him.
Yeah.
He just said, "Where you get this money?" I says, "None of your business. If you don't want it, I'll take it back." Oh no. We're in that little office room, you know, and talking to it, paying $5,000 for nothing. He didn't do jack shit. I didn't care though. I didn't care. I really didn't. But anyways, that's how it was in the House of Correction. You were there, huh, Richie, for a long time?
I've been in there for when I was 17 years old. I spent my 18-year birthday there during the 4th of July, matter of fact.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that, yeah.
I was in there then, and that was 4 months. I was sentenced to 6 months, and with good time, I only did like 4.5 months. And then I was in there a total of like 11 months total my whole life.
Did you ever get to go to Waupun?
No, you're talking the house of correction.
No,
You're talking
I'm
county
talking-
jail. As far as prison goes, no. But those 2 prisons I was in, the one that's the intake prison, I was there for like 4.5 months.
Yeah, that's about it.
And then I went to that Racine prison, and when I was there, I just stayed on the same unit.
I bounced all over the place.
You need to put a story time for me.
I got so bored being the one.
Are you feeling neglected?
Well, I got a story too about being
Yeah, he was
in the house of correction.
Yeah.
Dude,
They don't call it the house of correction no more, though.
With Miguel.
They call it
Let's
something
switch it up.
else.
what do they call it?
I don't know. It's not the house of correction, though. It's something else.
You know,
Statue of Liberty over there.
You know, it's a pity that they don't have that CCC anymore that they had downtown, that community correctional center.
Yep, I was there before.
Dude, when I was there,
That's where they release you for
when I was there,
work.
for the 2 times I was there, maybe 3, but for the 2 times that I remember that I was there, when I was in high school, I was there. And after high school got out, they were like, well, you're going to have to find somewhere, you're going to have to find something to do, like get a job. They wanted me to pay, give them a bed, pay to rent a bed there. I'm like, I'm not paying you guys $500 a month.
Yeah, fuck that.
What I did was I signed up for summer school, and then what I would do is I'd only go for one class, and I would skip out for the other class, and they gave me like almost 2 hours to go back and forth, 2 hours to and 2 hours fro. So me and Sarah, then we would just go to my mom's place, and then we would hang out for like 5 hours a day for because I would skip out of the second summer class that I had. That was like almost like a 3-hour class. That's what I would do. I did that for about a month and a half. And then, of course, so like I shot myself in the foot because I had like a week left. I had a week or 2 left, and I started smoking weed then, and then they dropped me. My name came up on this list, and I tried faking my pee. There's some guy, he had peed he had got some pee from somebody, and he put it in a bag, and for some reason the guy wanted to watch me pee. He wanted me to watch, and it was just embarrassing.
It'd be like my dick's a balloon.
Yeah. But I got a condom on it. I always wear a condom.
It looks like crazy.
But hey, I'll tell you right now. When I got that keeper of a drug house, right?
Fuck.
Check this out. I remember I had got well, first, they set me up because they're like, oh, if you plead guilty, I should never plead guilty. I should have kept going because it was under the circumstances. I should just got possession of marijuana. I should just got that because it's the blunt roaches. That's all they found was blunt. Well, they somewhere, but still, that was what should have happened. But anyway, so I got after when they were like, oh, we'll let you leave right now with probation, and we'll give you a 2-year probation, right, with some kind of stay. And I was kind of like panicking because I was getting drugs for some guy that said he was getting it from Illinois, and I had, like, I'll tell you by the grace of God, man, when they came into that apartment, when they did the flash bombs and all that stuff, right? They knocked in the door. I had 10 ounces of crack cocaine in that kitchen.
Holy shit! What the fuck?
I had 10 ounces because I had got a 4.5 ounces of crack cocaine, and I had got 6 ounces of crack cocaine. What I would do is, when I would get the money right away, I would get more crack. All right, I'd get more dope because it's harder to get the dope than it is to get. It's hard to get the dope. I'm not trying to sound smart and say it's harder to get the dope than it is to get the money. I'm not talking like an idiot when I say that. And I probably sound like an idiot to somebody right now.
Tell me more.
But,
Tell me more.
Coke don't grow on trees around here. No, crack cocaine don't. Okay, so that's what I would do. I just when I had the money, that's what I do. I'd get the crack because you have a whole bunch of crack. You can always sell it and get the money. Yeah. And but I'll tell you, by the grace of God, because that dog, this idiot. This one guy because I had these 2 guys that were selling the crack for me, right? Like what I did was I found these guys that were kind of like basically like homeless, right? But I befriended them, and I was like, and it just manifested itself like so, and so. But I wouldn't give them the money. I wouldn't give them money. I was like, no, I would just take them and buy them stuff, right? And the one guy, he was like, oh, we should get a gun and all this goofy stuff, whatever, But anyhow, we ended up getting a gun, right? This guy, it's almost like he set me up. He was supposed to take this crack was supposed to go in his apartment where he was staying with this girl, right? That was in the same apartment building. And he went and he stuck it in my kitchen. He stuck it not mine, with the apartment I was renting in, the kitchen, and it was under the cabinets in the kitchen. And when the dog went, he hit on something, and the cop looked, and he just thought it was a false alarm and left. And then after I went to jail for just those cigarette blunt roaches, but they were like, oh, well, we had a warrant for your arrest because you fit the description, or there was a warrant out for you. There was a warrant for my arrest for selling crack, right? But I was supposed to be over 6 feet tall and weigh over 200 and some pounds, which at the time, of course, I'm not over 6 feet tall. I'm just, I'm 5'9". I wasn't over 200 pounds. Then I was like 165 pounds, so they knew I didn't meet the requirements for the warrant. Right. But of course I was panicking. I started talking. I was like, well, no, I had a roommate, and my roommate, I kicked him out because I found out he was selling drugs. But see, that's how they hooked me up, man. That's how they hooked me up. But see, I brought this on myself, right? They're smart people. I brought it on myself because, like, the one dude that was still staying that was in my apartment at the time, this idiot, and I don't want to talk bad about him, so, but it's so stupid. He had took money and he put it in a sandwich bag, and I had those Tylenol 3s because of my back, and I had them in a sandwich bag, and I used to stick them in this little I had this Resident Evil chainsaw for PlayStation 2. I had the case, and you remember that or no? And I had the little.
I don't think it was Resident.
It was Resident Evil, and they had it where it had this little drawer that literally opened up. I found out later it opened up, so I was like, "Oh, I'll put this in that drawer," because who's gonna buy? They'll probably think it's just one solid piece. The cops opened that up, and they found that money in a sandwich bag in that drawer, and that, And anyway, though, they asked me. They were like, "Well." Because this is where they're fishing now, right? They're looking for something because they didn't find crack, right? Well, they found one piece of crack. This is where I saw it. What they found, because the dude that was staying with me, he had now they could have planted this though. He had it on top of, in the middle of two of his pair of pants, right in the middle. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, how stupid can you be?
Sounds like somebody would shove it in between their clothes.
I just feel like these two had like concocted a scheme to get me out the way. Because it was only because of me that it was all happening. And I don't want to, I'm saying it was only because of me that it was happening. And so, I'm getting lost. Oh, so the cops are like, well, the roaches, right? They were like, well, so what? You now ask me this stuff, right? I say, I got a roommate. Me and my roommate, we smoke weed like three times a week. In my apartment building. So this is what they did. They charged me with keeper of a drug house. They tried to charge me with that one piece of crack and the marijuana, but it got dropped. Like after I got booked, the district attorney didn't charge me for that. But they kept the keeper of a drug house. They said I kept a place resorted to for people using drugs because of smoking weed in my apartment with my roommate, and that we did it every week. Yeah, they said I kept the place resorted to for, I at one point I used to basically remember that whole statute like verbatim. But like I said, by the grace of God, man, because that was a lot of crack cocaine. And then this is what these knuckleheads did after that though. They started smoking it. They started smoking crack, right? Mm-hmm. And like 10 ounces of crack cocaine is like.
Wow, they smoked all that crack?
No, what they did was they were selling it and they were smoking it.
They smoked the fuck out of it. Like,
they ended up smoking it, right? They ended up, what would you like, the damages that does to a person. So why would you yourself smoke it I know it was wrong to sell it, and I got like that one lady with her daughter that had the feet, which sometimes I always think about because I was selling crack to her. And like, that was like really bad. Cause she would get her daughter's Social Security number, money. Her daughter was adult, but anyhow, she knew her daughter was born with deformed feet because she smoked crack when she had her as in the womb. Anyhow.
Those people all have the illusion that will never happen to them. That they'll never sell their ass, they'll never lose their teeth, they'll never lose their family.
They will stay good looking.
Yeah.
Well, here's something that's new.
They think it will never happen to them.
Oh, it comes for them.
That really happened, and that's the Supreme Court. Affirmative action is no longer.
They left a loophole, though.
Did they?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, that really pissed a lot of people off. But
it made them upset. But
because you're a certain color, you get into college ahead of somebody that's going to pay for the college and has the knowledge, has pretty smart. Can go to college and get something out of it. You got them dumb fuckers are in there going in there and they can't even fucking read, and they're getting in there. And that's real. Honest God, that's real. That's real shit.
That was a big one.
Yeah, it was. I was like, what is that? In the window, man. It came by like a fish tank.
I saw somebody walk by. But that should have been stopped a long time ago.
You know what?
My hair's all sweaty. What's left of it?
Doesn't matter. Like.
Man, the phone.
If you're a midget or if you're a monster or anything like that, none of that matters. Are you gonna leave me on here? I'll do it. I'll do it all by myself.
Hey, somebody calls the phone. Calls there.
All right. I got it all to myself. Sweet. So.
Yeah, talk to the people. Tell them all those lies.
Tell them all those lies. Tell them. Should I tell them what's inside their food? About the natural flavors. Oh gosh, I don't even know what I want to talk about the most. I got it all to myself. Let's see here. Well, I read an article earlier that just in time for the 4th of July, Jeffrey Epstein looks a lot like Andrew Jackson. They did a picture of him side by side with it. And like his dimple and his nose and his chin, everything, that was all matching up. That was pretty different. Pretty different. So, in other news here, let's see. I'll do the news. Hold on a second. I lost my clothes. It's okay. Have more clothes on, Andrew. Yeah. So I was let's see what is big going on. All the sub stuff is super boring. They brought it up from underneath, and well, they said they may have found human remains in it. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, yeah. See, a lot of the stuff on the Daily Mail I read, and I'm like, that how come they're not talking about that in the regular news and stuff like that? So Marco Rubio in Florida is like making a big commotion, making it very loud and loud. Yeah, I would love some. Yeah. Anyways, he's making it loud and proud down there in Florida about, so there's UFOs. Old news, right? But the things that people don't think about are like, so they're getting them, yeah, they're keeping it a secret. But who's watching the watcher? Who's keeping them in line? Who's making sure that they're not the ones taking advantage of people? And they say they're like 300 years technology ahead of us. They are. We are ahead of ourselves. But the meek, who will actually inherit the earth, well, we just get in their like little leftovers, stuff like this, old technology. They have new technology. They have things out there like, your mind can only just imagine. But it'd be just like giving a monkey a laser gun. You see some of us, we don't even know how to act with a phone. All walking and talking and falling over the place and can't even cross the street. They're all on it. I almost fell victim to it to myself right now. Yeah. So he's questioning, bringing it to a lot of questions and stuff. What else did I see? I've been seeing a lot more of Jamie Foxx in the news. Well, not actually Jamie Foxx, but like his name. I'm hearing his name more. And there was this guy that came out and said that he had a stroke because of that. And he's all fucked up. He's blind and he has like, well, things that happen after you have a stroke. And that guy's talking about it, and then people are feeling more brave. Like, that's got to be true, because the family's not coming out and saying, well, that's not right. This is what's really going on. Jamie Foxx himself, even though he did a tweet, anybody can tweet, anybody can pick up the phone and get a hold of an account and be an imposter. It's not a big deal at all. You think it's funny? Yeah. There's that going on.
Our show now. Oh, shit, they're back.
Oh, it's kind of doing almost like a rundown. Thinking about it-ish. Some of the stuff I had seen in the news.
Well, that's not my lighter. Is this your lighter, Michelle?
Yeah, it's mine. Mm-hmm. Sweet.
I had lost mine.
So what were you talking about?
I was talking about Marco Rubio, telling the audience about Marco Rubio, making a lot of noise about UFOs. They're being retrieved, and they're doing reverse engineering. And the people that are doing the work, well, they have no one to answer to. They answer to no one.
That's who's watching the watch.
Flying money.
I mean,
Yeah.
how far have you gotten in that book? Where's it on your toilet right now? You probably got brown smudges. I meant to tell you, don't take it in there, by the way.
It's in my living room because I like to smoke cigarettes in the bathroom, and I don't want my book to smell like cigarettes.
And the cigarette smoke dilutes the smells of turds. It's like
It's
a match.
relaxing.
It's like a match.
It's relaxing sense.
Wow.
Now,
That's nice.
so how far did you get in the Behold the Pale Horse?
Actually, you know what? I didn't.
Even read it yet? Slap.
Quick. Think of something quick.
Had it for like 3 weeks.
I know, right?
I read a page.
What was I doing?
The 4 pages, I got to that one part. You know that exciting
I'll tell you
part
what.
where that part happened?
When you talk about like organizations that are actually they have no oversight, no overhead, you might as well take this book with you too. The Cosmic Conspiracy by Stan Dale.
I gotta read the other one first.
Well, you might as well read that one since you didn't read the other one.
I actually have a book for you too, and it's about mushrooms.
I don't read books.
And how
It's just really just like I spent like $50
like to
on those
push
2
them on 'em?
books.
You just like push them on people you don't read.
I read the Bible. That's it. But I've read the Bible. That is, but they're boring. I want to read it. I want to, but it's like when I read God's word, that's different. I have to read that. And when I was gone, like I would have a passion to read it, and that's how I found all kinds of stuff. When that guy Ryan was gone, for instance, like he's a babe in Christ. You really this term is actually used in the New Testament. The Apostle Paul talks about it, and the Lord Jesus, he quotes it from the Old Testament. Out of the mouth of babes, you have perfected praise. Jesus said, he quotes the Old Testament. And what that is, you got these people that are trying to earn their way into heaven, right? And you got these people that are, by means of earning their way into heaven, they delude, like a purity, like a child. When Jesus talks about a child a lot, well, not a lot, but he's brought up a child. He's like, unless your faith is like that of a child, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Unless you're like one of these little ones, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. think of a child. A child is pure. A child is not running around talking about, I want to kill, I want to murder. Here, I'm going to hump this. You know, and another thing too, kids will believe just by anything you tell them as a kid, you know?
Hell yeah, man.
You know, but see, that's faith. The faith of a child is strong. You know, you tell a kid that they can, and there's a very good chance that if it's like not life endangering, that they will attempt. I just had a brain fart. Not these guys got here, but okay, no. That guy Ryan, when he was talking to, you know, it's like, you know, he'd be considered. He's a babe in Christ, man. What helps him out a whole lot is the fact that, see now, like this fiance of his, right? If she wasn't saved, man, you know, I mean, good luck with that one, really. And even though she is saved, you know, like she's not married to him, so she's not obligated, right? But you know, you can tell obviously she loves him. This is sixth. All that stuff. When he's telling me a story, all this stuff is going through my mind right now. So like in essence, he's almost like Allstate. He's in good hands, right? Because of his situation, because she's good. Because you know, you know, chances are, like, well, look, I don't know how to say chances are, but she's there, right? And because if she's a faithful Christian, you know, at worst case scenario, she's just gonna tell him. You know, you got people that play around, play games. You know, and, they don't tell you what's really going on. So, and you know, like I'll give you an example, like Jessica, you know, man, like, you know how Satan worked in that, because he used the guy to tempt her. You know, like for 3 years, she was there and she was faithful, and then Satan came. But that's my fault because there was stuff that happened. You know, like me taking the plea and all that stuff. You know, not like trusting the Lord. I'm serious. I had a dream, man. I had a dream that I was found not guilty. Now, you guys all know the real story, though. I literally had this dream. I was praying and I was fasting for over 7.5 days. I was just drinking water. I wasn't eating, and I was praying. I was fasting. I had this dream, and I still remember today. I woke up. I was shaking. I was so scared because I sat through a trial in my dream where events that took place, and then this jury comes in. And they say, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. And I woke up. And the Lord talks about in his word, he talks about that he speaks to us in dreams and in visions. And that was the Lord speaking to me. I'd say this is how real it is. This is how real it is. For one, when I started handing out those Bibles, before I handed out those Bibles, I had seen this guy, that Jonathan Click guy, right? I won't give him too much cred because he's got made stuff that, you know, but he would talk about, like, he would just open up a book and he would just point. And this stuff was like, he would like ask the Lord something, and then it was like he would hit on a word or something. And I remember at that point I was like grasping for straws, right? I had just got out on bail. I only got nothing of it because what happened in my situation, I had a $5,000 bail. You got guys that had like $20,000 bails, right? And here I had a $5,000 bail, and I got the money posted. So then I was out in like 7 days. I mean, when I went for my first for my plea hearing or whatever, the judge thought I was gonna be coming out from the back in shackles, and here I was standing up. You know, that was a shocker for me. That would surprise him, because he, you know, you read the charge, sexual assault. They're like, oh man, you know, pow, you know, that's it. And he's gonna be coming out, and here I wasn't, dog. You know, the Lord blessed me. The Lord did all these things, man. And then. Oh yeah, then I remember I was like, man, you know, I gotta start handing out Bibles. I gotta, you know, for one, right away I knew to go to church though. Like when I got out, I was like, we're going to church, and I know which church we can go to, and I was like, that happened right away. And I wasn't witnessing to people yet.
Do you know what? I got some of those Bibles that you were giving away. I actually took some of those, and I was giving them away too, and no lie, my husband carries one. He carries, he has like this, Jason Baggy carries around with him like his cigarettes, all his like lunch and all this stuff inside of it. And inside of there is a Bible. He carries the Bible with him every day.
Does he read it?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe he does. Like when he's got nothing going on.
I gave one of those Bibles to this homeless guy, when I was on this, like, when the Lord was taking me on this adventure, right? Because, like, I was collecting unemployment. When I was going to court, I was collecting unemployment for, like, 7 months. And I only had, like, 2 weeks left. And this guy at church, he came to me. Like, I was praying. I went on a day that I normally wouldn't go. It was maybe I didn't go on a day that I normally, it was like, probably was a Sunday, but I had my hands up. I'm at the whatever the altar, and I have my hands up. I'm praying, and then this guy comes to me and he says, "Hey, are you gonna go with them to the park to go witness or whatever? They're gonna evangelize at the park." And I don't think I was gonna go, but then again, maybe I was. But I said, "Yeah," and he's like, "Can I ride with you?" And I was like, "Sure." And then he told me, he said the Lord spoke to him or something and told him, to hitch a ride with me. And I was there, and I remember he laid hands on me, and he started like speaking in tongues, and he said, "Have you been baptized with the Holy Spirit?" And I told him, I said, "Yeah." I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know nothing about the Holy Spirit until like years later, actually, when I was in prison. And he put his hand on me, and he starts like speaking in tongues, and all I heard was, blah, 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 I'm not trying to mock it, because there's people that mock and say that tongues aren't true, but tongues are true. So, dude, he was like, he said something, somehow it came about. I said, "Yeah, I don't have a job right now. I keep looking. I can't get a job." And he said, "What do you do?" And I told him, and he said, "I got a buddy that owns a machine shop." And then right away, and then I wasn't even going to take the job, because I did get a job somewhere around. I did have a job for like 3 days, right, through a temp service, but they cut me loose right away. And I had a interview scheduled with this guy, with his friend, and I wasn't going to go. I was like, I'm content here. I'm not working with metal. I don't have to worry about messing something up with machining. I don't have to worry about working in tenths or thousandths or whatever. I'm making wood. I'm cutting wood. I'm not miking this stuff. And I remember I called the guy up though. I said, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, blah blah blah. I'll show." I went to the interview. I don't know how it all worked out, but all I know is that it worked out to where they cut me loose. I came to my apartment, and I got a call from the temp service, and they said, they don't need you anymore. And I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do? Like, I had 2 weeks left of unemployment. I finally got this job at this temp service. Now what am I gonna do? Well, I guess I'm gonna take that job that I wasn't gonna take at the machine shop, and I took that job. And so like that all worked out. And I was getting paid like half of what I was getting paid at Falk. I was getting $10 an hour. I'm like, man, I have to take it. And so right when unemployment was running out, it could have been even a week left of unemployment. It was right at the thread and the needle. But when I was there, I would see these homeless people across the street at the Walmart. And I would hand out Bibles to them. And I remember one day this guy came to me and he was like, "Man, you won't believe it." He said, "Man, it was raining." Or he said something. He said, "Someone tried to send his tent on fire." And he said, "Everything burnt up, but that Bible you gave me."
Dude, those homeless people love to burn the shit out of each other's stuff.
No, people were burning his stuff because they wanted him out the neighborhood.
They do it to each other too.
He was
revenge.
He was living by Lakeside. Remember when you had your where we played frisbee golf for your wedding, something like that?
Yeah, I remember.
He was in that vicinity. That's all good. That's all a good area right over there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're homeless, how can you be homeless around there? And so there's like somebody around there did get them out to move them around. But everything he said the only thing that didn't burn up, or he's like, this Bible survived.
But there's a lady I used to see all the time, like on 76th Street, like by the mall and stuff like that. And she would have like a legit choo-choo train of carts. I'm not bullshitting, like 10 carts. And she had the long dreadlock hair and stuff like that. She was an older woman, and I was like, holy shit. I told my mom, I said, "Dude, look at that." And she was like, "Oh, I wonder what happened." And I was like, well, whatever it is, she can't she's got 10 carts. And you know, when I first started seeing her, it was in the fall when it was really cold outside. And then I had seen her by the park. And then the last time I seen her was actually legit, and it was by the airport.
Dude, you know what? You guys are talking about that. I was out in the morning flying my airplane at the park with the camera on it, testing it out. And I seen someone sleeping. No blanket, no nothing. Just laying on top of the grass on their back.
You know what?
It didn't even move. I don't know if it was a dead body at first. It kind of freaked me out. And when I was flying, I didn't notice at first. And then I was like, because I had the goggles on because it was FPV, and I was like, dude, there's a body there. And it was probably just a homeless person because there's a lady that was on the corner.
Something really interesting. I used to work for the county. I used to work downtown.
This is the poop story.
Where the guy shit in the stairwell at the bottom of the staircase.
Oh my God.
Man. So no. So
Oh, didn't tell the poop story too.
that was one of them. So there's always been homeless people downtown, and there was this one guy. Now 20 years ago, 50 cents was a lot of money, right? And I was going outside, and you could smoke outside around the building and stuff, pretty close to the doors. Nobody made a big deal out of it. They were just sitting on the benches. Me and this other girl were smoking a cigarette, and this guy, they call him 50 cents because he was well known to go around and ask somebody for 50 cents all the time. Hey, you got 50 cents? You got 50 cents?
Is that lips? No,
I know.
So no, we're sitting there on the bench, right? And he walks by, and he's like, "Hey, you ugly white bitches, go eat some dog shit. Go drink some dog piss, you ugly white bitches." And I tell you, dude, I looked at my friend, and she looked at me. We looked all around the park area, and we were like, is he talking to us? I got yelled at by a homeless guy. I couldn't believe it. And he was fucking mean about it too, you know? Holy shit. You couldn't just call me an ugly bitch.
He put a bunch of hatred in. He put a bunch of hatred in there for you too.
You know what?
Goodness.
That was at the beginning of summer, and I worked there for like 2 years. And wouldn't you know it, like a year later, at the beginning of summer, yeah, there was like shit being found at the bottom of this stairwell. We'd go down there and we'd smoke cigarettes, so you didn't have to go all the way up, you know. We'd stand in, because you're like outside, but you're not, but you're outside.
Outside enough.
Because it's like a hole in the ground. And so there'd be shit in this thing, and I'd be so mad. And I'd be like, oh, I bet you it was that guy. I bet you it was 50 Cent doing that. And yeah, like a year later, they found his dead body in that stairwell, in the poopy well.
It was him doing it. His pants were pulled down.
You know, I told my friend, I was like, he was probably yelling at somebody, and they had enough of his shit.
Said, "Come here, Buster."
That's the wrong person for 50 cents.
He's yelled at the wrong ugly white bitch.
Holy cow. Yeah, you know what though? Just really quick before you tell your story, I was downtown. It was late at night, and I couldn't believe I was downtown this late at night. It was about a month ago, and I was down by the tall U.S. Bank building, and I heard me, and it wasn't a car alarm, and it wasn't anything like that. I was like, what is like? It was like a chirp. It was kind of annoying to hear. Like, I wouldn't be able to sit there and listen to it all night. That shit would make me want to turn around and choke somebody.
Where's it at so I can smash it?
You know what it was? It's attached all along the side of those buildings, and when you come along to the side right there, you could see it flash when it would make that noise. Yeah, I heard about this in Russia. In all of their parking structures, all of the parking structures for like malls or businesses, doesn't matter. You know, that's how they combat their homeless problem downtown. And I was so surprised to see that in our downtown here. That noise, that blinking, and it. You know what? There wasn't no homeless people there.
Oh,
there wasn't
like
nobody
gives
there
off
at
a
all.
Signal like the stuff that's supposed to work for cockroaches.
Yeah, it's a combative signal.
You go down there and you listen to it, and you hear that.
Interrupts their natural behavior
chirp,
of finding
chirp.
that place to lay down and sleep.
It's an annoying listen to hear it.
You know what's fucked up
and I
about
was down
it
there
all?
during the day. That noise isn't there.
people
It's
running
only
around
at
like
night, and I bet you they turn that on when it gets dark, because I was down there pretty late.
That probably to conserve power.
Doing whatever
I have that shit
Michelle's
on
do
during the day.
downtown, late as hell.
You know, like I bumped into a guy and he was like, I've been homeless for 4 years. No, this isn't down south. So we got winter. You got cold winters. So what are you doing during the winter? Like, how are you surviving? And dude, like, I don't know. I want to say the guy was like, he's like sleeping outside somewhere. It's impossible. You're going to freeze to death.
Dude, somebody told me what to do. Take a bunch of leaves and put them inside garbage bags, and it like starts to rot and it warms nice and hot. The guy was telling me.
Or cardboard is like super warm. You ever take cardboard? I spend all this time making these little houses for these kids. So anytime I see like a refrigerator box, we used to see refrigerator boxes all the time. By the way, you don't see them that much anymore, but the boxes you see during Christmas, oh yeah, I'll have people like, oh, I'll take that box. And I'll break it down. And then during the summertime, like I'll cut the holes in it and stuff. They're hot. They're hot inside of them. You can just cover up with it.
There you
Newspaper
go, a couple
and stuff
bags
is
of
warm.
couple garbage bags of leaves.
And you know what?
And
They make
that's your bed.
Your clothes are made out of paper too. You know, it's interweaved with paper like that.
You know, now you got the winter. When summertime comes, like I've seen when I'm taking a bus, I look outside the bus window. And you got what looks like a homeless guy walking around with no T-shirt under a blazer. He's got a blazer on. He's got no shirt on, right? And it's like, where was this guy during winter? You know, like now they all pop out. Like you got people that are just popping out that are homeless. And where were they during the winter?
Yeah, our
And you don't
winters
have
are
a
long.
like
here.
I said, he's got this blazer on, no shirt underneath it, as if like it just been like all the time.
Abandoned homes.
Yeah.
You
Kicked
go
out
there
spring.
under the bridge. You got that little cliff underneath there. They just block that off. You block it off with cardboard and you put your sleeping bag out. I seen it downtown over on 27th Street over there. How they did that. I wanted to do that.
It's pretty popular down by the Pierce
I wanted
area.
to do something like that. I want to be homeless. You know, just to go down and see how it is, what it's like to be that way.
I think it's violent.
I mean, you know, could you imagine? You know,
I think it's violent. And you want to know why I say that? Because basically every person I see that's homeless is like really beat down.
Dude, it's what lurks at night, dude, is worse than the day,
Hell
dude.
yeah. And you know what? Even
For
if
real,
you,
man.
even if you were just like a normal person and something fucked you up, those people come along and they get you.
Yeah, there's something out there.
There's
There's
a new
It
person.
lurks.
There's a new person on the block.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be homeless, be
We'll
homeless.
burn his house down
You know
in
what?
the alley.
And you hear about people. You
Get
hear
that
about
cardboard.
you hear about people like setting them on fire
That's fucked up, dude. I'm a
and
human being,
beating
man.
them up
You
while
fucked
they're
up person.
sleeping. These people have problems. They're fucking homeless. They're on drugs and shit. They can't even defend themselves. They're like in some kind of coma, thinking they're at the beach, and it's daytime and it's nighttime, and you're beating the shit out of them. So crazy.
I seen a guy that, well, okay, for one, if you're gonna be homeless, you might as well be homeless in Texas. You might as well be homeless down south where it's the hot weather all
Weather's
the time, right? I'd rather
better.
be where it's hot than cold.
California.
I seen this guy though
there.
twice.
San Francisco.
Fill her up.
I seen the same guy twice, and I want to say he was wearing the same clothes, months apart.
I'm right on that, right on that right day.
The first time I seen him, he smelled straight pee, man, all over, just piss, and his eyes were so bloodshot red and he was across the street from this hospital. What is that, Francis?
Oh, yep, St. Francis.
So they probably he probably went there for some observation, and then they booted him out, took him, to go on the bus. But his eyes were so bloodshot red, and I started thinking, like, what if this guy has AIDS or something? Like, he's like, something's wrong. He was talking to himself. He was mumbling, and then I walked past him, and he asked me something about the bus, but he was still mumbling even when he was talking to me. So I thought he was kind of like in a drug-induced stage or something, right? But then I seen him again downtown. I was gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts. Like when I'm downtown now, I'll go stop at the Dunkin' Donuts off 6th in Wisconsin. And I walked past him. He was right in front of that Dunkin' Donuts. And it was like, but it's like he snapped out of it in terms of like this babble. And he said, "Can you buy me a cup of coffee?" Like he just said, I went, If you saw the guy, you wouldn't you'd constantly think that it's something that carries on, that he can't break from that babbling. It's his appearance, everything, it all ties in. You would think he can't break from that character. I bought him a cup of coffee. After I bought him a cup of coffee, I said, "Hey man, give your life to Jesus." He went right back to the mumbling, whatever. And it's like and then I seen him when I was waiting for the bus stop. I seen him across the street from me on the corner, and he was just standing on the cross the street in the corner, talking to himself and arguing with himself.
You know what I think about people when I see stuff like that. Honestly, sometimes I think mental illness, and then as I get older, no, I guess I see other things. I see it a little bit differently. Like, I see like a demon riding some of these people.
Okay, yeah. That's kind of like how it is spiritual warfare. I'll tell you, I read this book. I got a book. It's called The Triumph of Church. You can read that.
Hey, I got a true story for you, and it's an America story.
Story time with Michelle.
Yeah, check it out. So when Biden was running for president, do you guys know what his slogan was?
What was it?
Fight for the soul of the nation.
Ooh.
And now you see how like all our souls are just
Soulless.
being just like, there are none.
A lot of people have problems sleeping. It's because your soul.
Well, they're doing that Venus and
Fingering
Aphrodite
through it.
worship,
Fingering through all the souls.
Her
looking
month,
for 'em.
her month was the
Oh,
month
you're
of
dressed
June.
up like Asteroth right now.
You got to read that book, Dad.
You know that?
Well, you know what? Just in time for June to tell the story about in Venus's temples, how her priest, she said that she could turn any man into a woman and any woman into a man. And the people that worshipped at her thing were men, and they were completely turned into women.
That's in that book, Love of Gods.
Yeah.
That book, that book, Venus.
Oh, wow.
All those.
But you know what? When you're a kid and you're learning about these Greek gods and stuff in high school and middle school, and you're like learning about unicorns and magic, they don't tell you that shit. And how she had orgies constantly going in. Her month was the month of June.
Oh my goodness.
And she was the goddess of pride. So,
ooh, my goodness, how that ties into all.
So
you find there's a goddess
everything
at the end of the tunnel.
has a way of coming full circle when you understand words and how things go. So, this isn't magical times. We live on a magical planet.
Dude, there's
but
dragons.
Most of the people here they can't see, they can't hear. Dude,
they can't understand when you say words. It's like going.
Yeah, I can't even talk. Right?
You talk about there's dragons. You look at the countries. Look at past and present countries that were synonymous with dragons and snakes. Egypt,
the serpent,
South Africa, even into Mexico. Sure, like reptiles.
The Chinese, because their dragon look like a serpent with wings.
Now check this
and
out.
a big head.
Have you read the book of Ezekiel? Have you read like the beginning of Ezekiel? He talks about well, you got people in Ezekiel. You got UFOologists, and they're like, "Oh, Ezekiel saw a UFO." Okay, well, apart from the UFOologist stuff, that's not true. Check this out. There's these cherubim that appear to Ezekiel. There's 4 of them, and they have 4 faces. One's the face of a man. The other one's the face of an ox. The other's the face of an eagle or a raven, but a bird. And then there's a 4th. I can't remember what the 4th is. Now, I bring that up because there's 4 faces, right? There's 4 faces on each of these 4 cherubims. They had those 4 faces on them with multiple wings.
I think it was a lion. I think one of them was the face of a lion.
So now check this out. I mean, you look at a star. You look at a. Did I say this last week? You take a pentagram, you flip it upside down.
No, you didn't.
Okay, the point of the star.
Yeah.
Points downwards, right? People say, "Well, that's the fall of Lucifer." And when the star is upright, he's the top point of the star. But now that he fell, he's downwards, right? And then the other 4 represent other cherubims, right?
I just see his face when it's upside down. I actually see his horns and shit.
Yeah. I watched a video about that. Check this out. out of those 4 faces that are revealed on those cherubim, there's one species that's missing, and that's the reptile. And Satan is anonymous as a snake. He's synonymous with the snake, that is. He's synonymous with the reptile kingdom, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you look at these nations like Egypt, and you know how Egypt turned out in idolatry. You look at South Africa and into Mexico and Central America, the Incas, the Mayas, and the Aztecs. Well, really, the Aztecs were up to the north. If you didn't know this, the Aztecs were all the way up to Wisconsin. They were moved. They were relocated. But you got human sacrifice and the shedding of blood and the ripping of hearts.
Yeah, right here in Rock Lake, in the middle of Rock Lake, is one of their pyramids.
Yeah.
And when the water was low, you can go there and you can hit it and see it. Like, not hit it. You know, you don't want to hit it.
You can touch the tip.
But yeah, you couldn't touch it. You could like see it. You could see it there. I wouldn't go around swimming in it. They have like a lot of, I don't know.
They have submarines.
Yeah, I can buy one. I can buy one.
You can make one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, brother? You can make one. And you know what? You don't even need real certification if it doesn't go beyond 4,000 feet.
I would definitely hire the 50-year-old white dudes.
Why? You're one.
You know what?
You know why? Because they know what's going on.
He couldn't hire them. He couldn't hire those guys if he wanted to because they didn't have everything proper. That's why he had to prey on the people that were ignorant of what was going on about
a video game.
The comb was made out of that plastic, and that's what did it.
He bought the
Is that what happened? Because they were talking about that thing before, how it was like pushing in a quarter or whatever it was.
Well, they think they pulled it up, and they think that they found human remains on it.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. So I'm curious what that would look like. Like, what kind of remains would they find?
I don't know. Is there any phones? Is there any phones? Anything that's recorded before something? Is there anything left? There could be, even though there's an implosion. Like is there?
It's an instant death.
I know, but before that, anything before it could be like something's not right.
Yeah.
You know, like that part.
Panic.
Whoa, what the fuck? I want to get the fuck out of here. The dude opened the hatch up. I get the fuck out of here. I don't know, man. I wouldn't even done it, man. I'm too scared for that shit. No. Submarine that I could make would be one that'd be like radio controlled and stuff like that in the water.
I don't know, like when I'm
or just go buy one.
When I'm
and
washing
go
my
there.
hair and my face gets wet. The water's too deep already.
Oh yeah. If I can't see the bottom, I ain't swimming in it.
It's just that when I just been fishing, I learned after years of going to lakes and just swimming all nilly-willy what actually lives in these damn things. Mm-hmm. And hell no, unless it's a pool where I can see the bottom of it and what's inside of it with me, I'm not going hopping around in lakes and doing any type of skiing or hanging out on Although I do enjoy floating.
Yes, I like being in a kayak.
That's super fun because I'm with a group of people and we're all linked up together. So it isn't just one person with their little feet going. I mean, it's like a big group of like 20 of us all together.
Oh yeah, yes.
Then I'm open for something like that. But otherwise, really, I'm not open to beyond getting my feet wet into the lake because there's weird shit.
Just think, when we were kids.
I am convinced that there's like
what did we all touch when we were looking for clams? That wasn't a clam that we didn't think. Oh, we were looking for clams. We're like, oh, that's not a clam. That's not a clam. What did we touch?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to even think about it.
I'm just afraid to touch like one of them giant freaking leeches that are like this fucking big, like you see in Faces of Death, where it just sucked everything out of that woman in like moments.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The Humphrey Bogart movie.
You know what? And not only that, and
she did that to Humpy.
You two can contest to this. When we lived in O'Connell, over there by the sewer, at the edge of the sewer, where you would see the deformed frogs.
Yeah.
And then you swim in the lake, everybody's drinking the water, and it's just like
the fart water. It smelled like farts, and then you make cherry farts because it would be cherry Kool-Aid. Be like, all right, well, let's make some cherry Kool-Aid because it might make it taste better, make the fart go away. It just became cherry farts. I was like, man, don't you taste the water? The water's good here. I'm like, dude, you like drinking farts?
It did smell.
It was horrible water.
Shitty, like when I was a kid. And they're like, you're just used to that nasty Milwaukee water, And I'm like,
right.
Dude, it just really. And they were like, well, maybe it's because it's well water or whatever. And I thought to myself,
Well, it's not for me.
I've been to my friend's house in Brookfield where a bunch of that nasty ass well water is, and it never smelled or tasted like that.
You go to South Dakota and drink their water.
You know what? I did
If it goes
drink
in
their
the
water.
refrigerator, it gets cold, it's really good. But man,
I drank nothing but spring water when I was up there.
yeah,
In South Dakota, there were so many springs. There was so much opportunity. They were like, you could buy coffee for 5 cents. 5-cent coffee, free water. It was good. And their food was good there too. And you know what? There's no mosquitoes in South Dakota.
no mosquitoes.
How
And
come?
they have water because of the plant life that they have down there. They plant. If Megan was here, she could Google it up and
Yeah,
say
Megan.
what it was. Yeah, Megan.
We got a
your
spot
epic
right over
failing,
there.
Yeah. You
Did you tell her already? Did you tell him
Yeah,
yourself?
I was messing.
No,
messing
what?
I
Let me
was
see, did you tell him?
talking to her about it.
Well, you know what I said? I said we could
I was
set it up
talking
to
about it
where
too.
we would take the screen and rotate it 180 degrees.
Yep.
So
I
We
actually
got a spot for it and everything, and that would be very helpful for us.
I played a game of catchphrase with her.
Yeah.
And I had her as my partner. So here's me describing something. So I'm describing, like, let's say I'm going to say, hey, Dad, you remember that 3-word sentence up in the clouds? It would be, right? So I'm like, oh, you can't do opposites and stuff. So like, oh, and it's there. What's there? And I'm just like talking like, so like, how the fuck am I going to get to? How am I going to get this? And she knew it. Like that.
Yeah,
what it was I was talking about.
Every time she said
She was
something,
like,
she had it.
bam, bam. I was like, see, dude, that's why you need to be on here. When we're talking, you could be in the background. Joe
A missing
Rogan has
part of
somebody
something.
like that. Hey, I could have talked earlier about what the map Back to America. It's his birthday. Happy birthday.
America.
If you
That's
look
it.
at the map, at the political map of America, you see so much red, and all where the people centers. I just call them people centers because that's where all a bunch of people live. That those little cities are what's running the show, and it's unfucking believable. Like what it really looks like when you try to talk to people about stuff like that. The pushback is the cognitive dissonance that people have, and they're not owning
People
up
just
to
can't.
it.
People don't want to believe it, man.
Yeah,
They've been alive for so, and they just want to
you're just full of shit. You
want to
only
live,
want
and
to
they
see
don't
what
want
you want to see.
something to interfere that
Dude,
belief
it's
because
not-
it burns them up inside because they're programmed, man. There ain't no reaching that person.
They're busy watching the TV,
They're like,
Yeah, you kinda
the
saw that
television. Yeah.
let's look
Show you
at
the,
it.
show you some about what's on the money.
Not the money.
The money, Mike. Yes.
The money?
Money.
Look. It's dark. Oh, there we are. Go, Godzilla. Wow.
Yeah, you'll like them too.
Yeah, you can eat these.
You're gonna like my nuts.
Oh
That's
my
the
God.
guy.
Bring
Yeah,
those
wow.
nuts over
His
here, boy.
smokehouse nuts in your mouth.
Is that where they go?
They're
Not
kind
your
of salty, Marco.
But I have to chew those nuts.
Oh, I love
Can
these
you
bugs,
handle
though.
that?
Oh my God, that was so loud.
Crunch, crunch.
I'm not eating any of those. Oh my God, that was so loud.
crunch, crunch, crunch.
Sounds like a porno. Oh yeah,
Show me the fire.
Russia's actions are a problem. They don't pose the number one national security threat to the United States. I continue to be much more concerned when it comes to our security with the prospect of a nuclear weapon going off in Manhattan. A weapon going off in Manhattan. Off in Manhattan.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's
Those nuts were good.
You know, you can end up going to a rabbit.
You know, when it comes to 9/11, there's like a lot of things that people don't really talk about. They talk about like the events that happened on the day, but they don't talk about leading up to that day. Those guys doing their art project on the same floor where the first plane hit. They've been doing their art project for a long time up there in those windows. Also, the Pentagon lost billions of our dollars, and they're supposed to come under investigation. And
Building 7.
And then Building 7 fell.
That's where the money was. The records were kept in Building 7, and that's the building that was destroyed.
Although what's really, really crazy, and there's no questions asked about it. We just like another thing. We just all just like, okay, we just fall in line. When that plane hit the Pentagon, wow, that's amazing. The whole fucking thing disintegrated except for a couple
where's the wings
pieces.
and the tail and the engine?
Yeah.
Dude, I crashed my little model planes, man.
No black box to go with it.
Thank
no,
you. No, there's nothing
no
compared to that,
nothing.
but still.
And then also that one that landed in Pennsylvania. God help the people if there was really people on it, but
Oh, you heard about that too? How there might not have been real. You watched Jesse Ventura. You watched that conspiracy.
Oh, I fucking love Jesse Ventura.
Did you get it from that?
No, I did not. Actually got that from another one that was pretty deep. It's a Janet Assabard. I'll have to share some of those videos with you. And she goes through a lot of that
Peanuts
stuff.
right there, honey roasted peanuts.
No, he
told
wants.
you you're gonna like my nuts. I got smoke.
I want some titanium in
he
my
wants-
veins.
He wants that poison.
I want some poison. I'm
He
addicted.
knows what it is. He's got to have it
Look,
anyway.
shut up. You know what? That's like your cigarette.
You know what?
I quit smoking cigarettes.
I won't
Good
eat.
for you.
I won't eat that.
Yeah.
It is.
But
It
I'll
really
still
is.
eat chocolate.
Thank
serious.
you. I'm serious too. Thank you. It sounded sarcastic when you said it, but I still accept it. I'll still accept it because you didn't say anything mean, really. It's just you said them words differently. You
That's the way it's supposed to be put.
Still love it.
To
Still
put,
like
put it into other people's minds.
Thank you. My
Quit
mind.
smoking.
Quit smoking, man. It's
Quit.
fuck them cigarettes.
I
For a
quit
4th of
smoking.
July,
I
don't
said it.
wait for the 1st of the year, man.
I
Dude,
told
do
you
it for the
many-
4th of July, man.
Wow.
Quit smoking.
I can do it. I can do
Quit
it.
drinking.
I quit last night.
Drink less.
I went to bed. I quit.
Drink blood.
Yeah,
You started back up this morning, though.
about 9 o'clock.
Dude, I quit smoking, man. It feels so different.
I know
feel
that you
so
would
different.
feel like, well, I'm already this old and I already got COPD, so
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah, right. That
But-
is what's
But
the point.
I know that's what you're gonna
It,
say.
it can't do nothing. It can't do nothing. Even if I stop, it's going to
Well,
continue on.
Don't you think?
So
Give you,
what's
don't
that-
you think it would give you more time though with us?
I don't give a shit. I mean, not the time with you guys.
That's like giving him the
I
lightsaber.
don't care.
Yeah.
And him being Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the lightsaber. Oh.
Checked it over.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it.
I'll fart in your mouth.
But once it's gone,
O'Connell water. I'll
once
give you
it
O'Connell
happens,
water.
it continues on. There's nothing going to stop it.
No.
Nothing's going to stop it. It's going to continue.
But you'll feel better. You won't feel like shit in the morning.
How do you know how you're going to feel? You never had it.
Because you always complain about being shitty.
You're goddamn right.
But if you quit,
it's
maybe it might make you feel better in the morning.
It ain't going to happen.
So I'm saying.
It ain't going to happen because it's not going to get
know.
better.
You don't know, though.
Yeah, I know. Just by watching other people who didn't smoke and got it.
Well,
I mean, like, I had asthmatic issues for a while.
Is that why you quit smoking?
For like 10 years. But,
how come you didn't keep smoking then? That idea didn't apply?
Smoking cigarettes, what's the point of smoking cigarettes? I'm not going to catch a buzz. Like, that's why I smoke weed. The only time I smoked, like, cigarettes was, like, after I smoked weed, unless I wanted to look cool for a moment in my life to chase my buzz like a wacky tobacco. Yeah.
Bring me back up higher, baby.
But, like, so that, and then,
a little bit higher. Show us how proud.
I smoke because I like it. I really like it. Why would I want to quit something I like? I do. I mean,
there is a conspiracy theory about
this. It's been 50 some years.
Well, I'm saying there's a conspiracy theory out there that there's stuff put in the cigarettes that make cigarettes harmful now than that cigarettes, like, whatever, how many, like 40 years ago or 50 years ago 50 years ago probably. Actually, I think D.B. Cooper brought it up, and that is that. Not D.B. Cooper.
He jumped out to play with all the money. He's got that
William
secret too.
Cooper, is it? The Pale Horse guy.
Yeah.
He talked about that there was thing about like 1800 Native Americans weren't running around with COPD.
So you're right. Mm-hmm. So you're right. In the I had read a book long time ago about the history of tobacco, and it was really interesting that they never used glue or anything like that when American people first came over here. They didn't even really use paper. They used another leaf, and they would take it and they would roll it just like you do your blunts now, and that's what you got. But it was almost like a cigar.
It's like when we get Prince Albert back in the day, and you got the papers. They didn't have glue on that either. There never glue came out. I think back in the last part of the 50s or 60s.
And they started putting chemicals in it to preserve it and to keep it.
It tasted good.
To keep it, yeah.
Filtered
to make you want to have another one.
When I watched that one thing about it, I couldn't stop thinking about like Hollywood. I just kept seeing these like really fat Albert Hitchcock looking guys that were just running the show. And I go back to like my impression. I'm not saying
I like my cigarette there.
Only beautiful people are smart, but holy shit, you think that some of the smart people would at least try to like be in shape.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with trying to be in shape.
Well,
no.
Here, okay, when you say
don't you want to be an example?
You said Alfred Hitchcock?
Oh, yeah, that guy's...
Was that who you said, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Think of G.I. Joes. When G.I. Joes came out, they weren't these built... if you look at the evolution of G.I. Joe action figures,
yes,
like every decade, they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And, during that time, like Alfred Hitchcock, they weren't focused on, like, that physical health, like, appearance and whatnot, like, I think it would have been more about the dress code than your actual physical your body.
Yeah, you're right.
If I have somebody
had to have that suit and the
if
top
I have
hat.
somebody leading me, I guess I'm looking for the full package deal. You know what I mean? I want you to be right in mind and right in body and right in soul.
They weren't focused on good fats and bad fats and
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you look like Jabba the Hutt, I'm not gonna fucking follow you.
But see, the women then too. The women. Look at Renaissance women painted. These are chubby chicks that were drawn beautiful.
Dude, yes.
These were chubby. Because that's what a woman looked like then.
And women used to faint real easy.
If you're poor, you'd be
women used to faint real easy. What happened?
You know what they say about fat people in Africa? That they're rich.
Yeah.
If you're fat in a third world country, that's a sign that you have wealth.
Wow, man.
I'm poor.
You look at India. You got people walking around.
Dude, look at my clothes are all tore up, dude, man.
Grown men skinnier than
I
you.
should buy,
They-
donate some money to
6 feet
Michael.
tall, walking around like
Donate some
beanpoles.
money to me. I need some new shorts.
I've heard about that.
My shorts are falling apart.
Yeah, they know, foreign countries know a lot about us here, you know, because look at Ethiopia. Look at, they're going around, they're rioting and everything because they want a picture of me in their wallet. And they said they
man.
No, you want to talk about riots? That shit going on in France.
Oh yeah,
At the beginning of it, Macron, like he's such a dick, and he married his teacher. That is so disgusting.
You know his name. You know the letters in his name spell out in Greek. Oh, in Grammatia. I don't know if it's Greek or Hebrew.
Him, Angela Merkel, that guy in Canada, Trudeau, they all went to that Soros little fucking camp.
Oh, yeah.
They're all part of that, and they all end up becoming world leaders. Amazing how the people would just flock to what these Soros has put on the table for us. I highly doubt it. It's all staged. And
we live
paper dragon shit.
Painting place in the earwings, Dallas. That movie Dallas. It's mixed with Dallas and Peyton Place.
You know what? I'm actually. You guys got me all worked up. I need to smoke a cigarette now.
Yeah, I'll go. We out there because I do too.
Oh, you guys gonna leave Richie here alone? I'll hang out with Rich. No, I won't.
I actually do have something that I could.
Nice.
Little piece that I can play.
Oh, the choices are limited. No, they're not. They're unlimited. Yeah, it was some strange stuff. I had seen a video about the weather people, and they were watching a video of a bird. They were trying to guess what the bird was. Rich, you know that? And it looked just like a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
And they're busy trying to guess what it is. It's like, holy cow. And it could be this species bird and that species bird.
All those pterodactyls are gone. But you know, there's a temple in South Africa that's got a carving of a stegosaurus on it. You know that Marco Polo, when he went to China, he came back with stories of men that were riding on lizards. Giant lizards. Now, you know that in South Africa, they have stones and the carving of the stones are carved in people riding on dinosaurs and being attacked or attacking dinosaurs.
So, you know, some of those islands and stuff around China, you're not even allowed to go on. And it's rumored that there's these super giant people that live there. And there's this, everybody has seen that video from 1910 or 1912 or whatever of that big sumo-looking guy walking through the thing. That's real.
Dude, that's
fake.
real.
That's fake.
That's
real.
That's a movie, actually. Did you not know that's a movie?
No way.
I'll pull it up right now.
What about all those other ones? You know, Putin, like 4 years ago, they had it in the news
Man, they got that
where
where you got
Russia
people-
was able to dig up these like 8-foot, and it was throughout history that they did have 8-foot soldiers, 7 and 8-foot soldiers in their military. These extremely tall people.
There's still tall people like that now.
Yeah, there is.
Well, you know,
What?
there's like femurs found that are like feet long.
I don't know. I'm looking at some of these mountains, and they're looking like people are laying on top of them, like a big giant just laid down and took a big nice nap. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come over and actually spend some time with you. Make you watch some of the stuff that I watch. It's like, no way. I gotta look into it more. You know, I heard that when they do organ transplant, like you get an organ from somebody, like all of a sudden these people that receive the organ, you know, they
Their body rejects it or what?
No, they start to
Have visions that the people that you
no,
used
they
to
get a
own it?
gift. Like they can
what?
play the piano or be really good at math or just something out of the blue like that they never had before, some type of weird knowledge. And I didn't know that. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I read a book. My niece gave me this 4-book series about these people that would do these transplants, and they would do it in purpose to get their gifts. Like they would get an arm, and they could, or their fingers or their hands, and they could play the piano, as well as that concert pianist, and they used a special blood so that way they wouldn't reject it, right? So I have the article. I don't have my glasses with me, but this is another reason why Megan should be here. She could have whipped it up. About they have this blue blood, and they were able to keep these monkeys' heads alive for longer than 30 days, attached to nothing, with this blood running through their system. And I thought that was so incredibly strange. They have like the synthetic blood is blue.
You ever heard about this world's deepest hole that's in Russia, and they put a microphone in it to see what they could hear?
Yeah. Yes. They took he got pretty far in the bottom of that deep ass hole.
Do you recall what people said they heard?
They heard the sounds of hell.
Yeah. You want to hear the sounds of hell?
Yeah.
You want to get scared?
Oh. I watch The Exorcist, and then Mike likes to close all the windows and the blinds and everything. We get super duper dark. And I'm going to tell you, some corners look too dark. Too dark.
Man, it's so hot in this apartment. This apartment is this
feels so good. I love it.
No,
I feel so nice and toasty.
Is always this way baking. It is always this way baking.
Well, at least you sleep really good then.
Oh, I got air conditioners. By the grace of God.
Slices of pizza make me think of that weird Pizzagate stuff. It's pretty amazing how that guy can shoot and get it.
The Soviet Union drilled a hole more than 12 kilometers deep in Siberia, which shares borders with Norway and Finland.
With one bullet.
The project to drill into the Earth's surface began in the 1970s, when Soviet scientists wanted to learn more about the Earth's crust. Over 2 decades, they managed to dig more than 7.5 miles down into the Earth. The drill broke through into a cavity, and the scientists lowered some equipment to see what was down there. An extremely heat-tolerant microphone, along with other sensory equipment, were lowered into the well. The temperature was about 1,100 degrees centigrade, about 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But the real shocker was the disturbing sound that was recorded. They only got about 17 seconds of audio before the microphone melted, but it was 17 horrifying seconds of the screams of the damned. The screams of the hell.
I wonder what's with this two at the same time. Oh, I gotta hear it.
Located in the northwest corner of Niagara Falls, Ontario, there's a small limestone tunnel running underneath what once was called the Grand Trunk railway lines. Back in 1900s, this tunnel was constructed to remove water from farmlands, which leads to the valley below. Later on, farmers also used this tunnel as a way to transport goods and animals safely, since the railway lines ran above. Over the years, it has developed a dark history. Back in 1900s, this old limestone tunnel used to have a small village around it, which was now lost to time. The legend says that, during that time, a couple used to live in the surrounding village, along with their daughter. The man and the wife fought continuously. He was said to be a drunk and abusive husband. Due to his inhuman behavior, his wife filed for the divorce and told her husband that their daughter would be leaving with her. The psychotic husband lost it and tried to grab her. The little girl was terrified and ran from the house all the way into the tunnel. She crouched in the pitch-black tunnel in an attempt to hide from that madman. After some time, she could hear footsteps approaching her. Suddenly, she felt a warm liquid poured over her body. Before she could even run, a matchstick was lightened and thrown on the girl. The little girl was burned alive while running for her life. The tunnel was echoed by her high-pitched horrifying screams. Thus its name, the Screaming Tunnel. It's made of a rough-cut stone, covered in moss, and measures 16 feet high by 125 long. This is an imposing dark structure, and at night, it transforms into a black portal that would create anxiety on anybody who disappear into the darkness. Many people claim that if you walk halfway into the tunnel at night without any lanterns, flashlights or other illumination, after reaching the middle of the tunnel, the legend says, you must light a single wooden match. When the flames go out, you'll hear the sounds of a girl screaming from somewhere in the tunnel. The temperature is considerably cooler in the tunnel than the surrounding area. The story is not documented and has been passed down by Niagara Falls residents through the generations. Nonetheless, the Screaming Tunnel continues to draw visitors from both the local area and ghost-obsessed tourists from around the world who want to hear the disturbing screams for themselves.
It's so hot in this apartment.
It's cooler outside.
Yeah, I know it is. That's one reason why I want to move out of this apartment. It's just too hot.
Oh, it's pay good rent. Hello? Okay. So there's I went outside. Oh, I'm so excited. So there's this castle in Europe. And it's not a full castle, but it's 4 huge walls of a castle, and it's supposed to protect the hole to hell. And they put some scientists down there, and well, they didn't put a scientist. They took a prisoner who volunteered for it, and they were sticking prisoners in the hole, and they were coming up all fucking loony toony and crazy and screaming and stuff like that. I also heard like back in the late 1800s, and they had like, remember that one show?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the big top.
That's it?
That's it? All right.
Here, give it to me. I'll tell you how to do it.
So, no.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, don't blow our eardrums out over here.
Don't.
We didn't get along because you're going to put me in the movies and make a big star out of me.
Oh, you're the coolest guy I ever met.
Mike, what was the name of that one show where that guy would show like
You want it?
he would do a picture and then he would tell you like a fucked up story about the picture? It was like a Rod Sterling Twilight Zone type show, and they had featured that story of those.
You don't want it.
And
I want it.
Night gallery.
Yeah, night gallery of those holes that they were covering. They were actually covering them, locking them down because they said creatures were coming out of the holes and stuff.
Yes.
Yes, and Amityville too is supposed to have like.
Maybe there was
but
something.
you know what? The people that
live
lived there said there isn't shit there.
There isn't.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that one of the kids, they did a lie detector test on him, a polygraph test, and he failed it.
I'll tell you something. That picture.
They're inconclusive, but you know,
Bigfoot.
I don't care what anybody says. That house is fucking haunted.
Well, you know, somebody really did die in that place.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, the whole family really did die.
Didn't a
and
diver die down there, or was that just a hoax?
A diver.
Yeah, a diver went down inside the well and went diving way down and never came back.
Oh no, we're
up.
talking about Amityville. Amityville.
Yeah, Amityville.
Oh, I didn't
they
know
have the
that.
well. That's what they have covered up. It's a well with water in it, and the guy went down. Or am I in a different? See, that's what I'm talking about.
No,
I'm from the other Earth.
Well,
dude.
because in the movie,
where's
they
Rick?
show a well.
Where's Rick, dude?
I didn't hear about anybody going down the well and getting all fucked up. Not that one. But I've heard of other wells, people going down and getting all fucked up. How about the Mississippi River when they went down to go fix the bridge and those guys came up babbling? You couldn't pull their shit back together. They seen fish that were catfish so big they could swallow a manhole.
Yeah, I heard of stories like that when I was younger, years ago.
Wallowed themselves in the mud. They wallowed themselves in the mud and they lay in the bottom.
So I would watch this show on cable just for a little bit because it was interesting. It was when they would, what is that called when they catch the catfish with their
Noodling. That's scary
noodling.
too.
And that guy pulled out this super huge fish that was big enough to because it had his whole fist. He didn't grab it like that. It grabbed him by his whole fist. It could have swallowed his whole arm. That fish was fucking ginormous.
That's scary. How do you know you're not reaching into like the big old face of a snapping turtle or something?
You know what's the scariest?
Oh, fuck that shit. I ain't doing it.
Octopus are scary. Octopus are so scary.
They're smart.
They should be. They got 7 brains.
Wow, 7 of them.
Oh, I don't know for sure. I feel like it's 7. That or 7 stomachs.
They got a lot of
shit.
legs.
They got a lot of legs.
Hey, to see the new ones that they found, they glow. They're like 2 miles down on the bottom of the ocean, and they glow.
Wow.
Hey, don't.
That's some cool stuff. They're always finding some new stuff.
Starfish too. You go to a beach down, like I lived in Oregon there. Go on the beach and pick all these starfish. Lots of them. I picked a whole bunch of them.
Isn't the kraken a giant squid?
Yes, it is. A big old kraken.
I remember like in
The kraken is coming for you.
a lot of that Greek etching and stuff like that. They love to draw those squids.
Oh,
They love it.
yes.
Ninjas.
Hello, you have a prepaid call from
Richard Harris,
an inmate at Oshkosh Correctional
Look on these
Institution.
inmates.
Your account
There's Rick.
balance is
Interviewing homeless people.
$16.21. To hear the charges for
I
this,
thought about doing
all
that,
calls
though,
other
interviewing
than
homeless people on
properly
the street
placed
and
attorney
playing video
calls may
started
be
like that.
monitored and recorded. Thank you for
Started.
using IC Solutions.
What's
You may
up?
begin speaking now.
What's up, man? You're on the Manwich. You're on the Manwich, man.
Hey, how you doing, man? This is Richard Harrison. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing really good.
All
Good to
right.
hear from you.
Yeah, hot day. Stinky.
Hot, very hot
Stinky
here.
outside. Stinky outside.
Oh yeah.
Sticky outside.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch base with you, see how you guys are doing, see if you guys had any ideas for me, just to see if anything had popped up, about what maybe I should do in my situation.
What's going on with it now? Like, what stage are you at? This is Rich, by the
I
way.
passed my deadline. Well, here's what happened to me last, so everybody knows. I last week had a phone call with my attorney. That's Lisa Goldman, so anybody wants to know. And she called me and said that I called her. And I was like, I didn't call you. And she said that she was trying to explain to me what she was going to do. And I let her obviously talk and everything. And when she was done talking, I said, what you just told me was that it amounts to nothing. You're basically not going to do anything. And all of this work for the last 6.5 years to prove my innocence, you're going to help the courts hide by not filing the appropriate motion. So what happened next was very, very, out of control.
Well, she got
was
snotty
then
on the phone, was talking to you like you're a piece of trash. I'm being serious about it. Talking to you like you're trash, like you're nobody, and you ain't get. I know, man. I know that's exactly how they talk to people.
She actually went one step further this time. Lisa Goldman actually told me to shut my fucking mouth, and that if I didn't like her, to fire her. And I said, I can't fire you because then I lose my rights to ineffective assistance of counsel. It's a trick. And she was like, yeah, well, looks like you're fucking stuck with me then, and hung up on me.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
Some dirty people out there.
That's dirty bird, because I could be home right now. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. That's not me misunderstanding the law or anything like that. If I had an attorney who would just step in, protect the record, and take everybody's statements that's already went on the stand and told them, these are their own officials, attorneys, investigators, everybody that went on the stand on my behalf and said this is what they did wrong, I would be home right now. And if instead they want to, file nothing to act as if it never even took place. I mean, the judge it's crazy. I'm going to end up doing another, probably 3 to 5 years before, and that's even if I'm lucky to get back to where I'm at right now. And that's, like I said, that's even if I'm lucky. So I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I really thought, I'd come home this year, and that's it.
What Alejandra did, what happened, what materialized, what was the attorney's name? Perk? Was his name Perk, the one he told me? Okay. So what materialized between Alejandra and the attorney Perk? Because I spoke to the attorney.
We've called 30 attorneys in the last.
Yeah, but that guy said he would take your case.
Yep, he did, and then he said he wanted $50,000 because of who the judge was. And I was like, you realize you have my transcript in your hand, and it clearly tells you what took place. It clearly tells you not only that I'm innocent, but that, these people, this is actually their MO in doing things. We can actually prove that now. And we proved that they did this once in Alabama, and we just proved that they set up a GoFundMe for her daughter and said she was in Japan, and when she's living in Fitchburg, Wisconsin, which is in Madison, And I was like, that's fraud. This is what these people are doing. This is what these people do. And he's like, listen, I know you're innocent. I believe you're innocent. He goes, I've seen the transcript. He goes, I know. He goes, but you're going up against a judge that has a long standing and has control of that count, the state capital or whatever. And he said, so I need $50,000 to protect myself. And I was just like, I don't have $50,000. I got 25.
What kind of
protect
country
himself
in?
from what? Pay him off?
To protect himself. To have, I don't know what, I guess what, to keep him so he has money in the event that he doesn't have any clients or something.
Yep.
Hey,
Rich, that's what it happened. Yeah.
How about, for new viewers that are out here, how about you explain yourself, your situation, so that people get a feel of what's going on with your situation? We know, for the most part, 3 of us know. We got a new co-host since you've been here last. And you go ahead, man. You got the mic.
All right. Well, my name is Richard Harris. I'm at Oshkosh Correctional. I've been incarcerated since 2009, basically. I was actually convicted, though, in 2013. It took a while of a sexual assault, first degree. I didn't actually commit the crime. The case was overturned in 2017, so it has a case number of 2017 CF 2770 is the case number now. It used to be like 2011. Since then, I have had my case reopened because there's evidence points towards the prosecution. The district attorney knew that her witnesses were lying on the stand. Not only did they know each other, but that all of the people who said they witnessed this and everything else like that, one of them was actually in Mexico, and the other people,
all
who said
calls
that they
other
knew
than
each other.
properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Didn't know each other, but they actually turned out that they did know each other. It's kind of like a play on words thing, in the courts. One was calling the other from the county jail when that person got arrested and said, yeah, well, we'll just throw Mr. Harris under the bus, send me some canteen. If you can come up with some money, you can bail me out. So, and we got all this as evidence, factual recording evidence now. When my attorney came back from San Francisco, his name is Attorney Fred Borg, he testified on my behalf on the stand and said that the district attorney hid evidence from him, lied about the charges, hid witnesses, and this is all in his own statements that we have in transcripts. Most recently, though, I should have been released on 4/17/2023. That was a court hearing, and if anybody wants to look that up on CCAP, please do. The judge clearly tells the district attorney and my attorney now, that Lisa Goldman, that if she doesn't file the motions for all the issues, she'll act as if there was no issues to begin with. In layman's term, anybody who doesn't understand that, that means if you don't file the motion to protect the record, every single piece of evidence that frees me will now disappear. And that's what she just told them. And that's what just happened. So on 4/17, I was court ordered to be at that hearing. I was denied the right to be at the hearing, even though it says right on CCAP 3 times, Mr. Harrison is court ordered to be present at this hearing. So, and they acted as if the hearing never took place, but they made a mistake, and the transcription lady put it on the CCAP, and now it's there. I've been writing in everybody I can think of. I wrote the Innocence Project. I wrote to LAIP. I wrote to the regular one down in the exoneration program in Chicago. I wrote Congress. I wrote the governor. I wrote just about everybody and anybody I could think of to do just to try and free myself. This whole thing has to do with, $16,680. That's exactly what these people stole from me, and that's their MO. I signed a land contract for a home, less than 12 hours later. I think it was like 11, actually, like 11 hours and some minutes. They called the police, and that was what happened. And next thing I know, I was asked to turn myself in. I had no problem with that. I got off of work, went right to the police station, turned myself in. They questioned me, and then I was put in the handcuffs. I mean, that's exactly how it went down. So it wasn't like I ran. It wasn't like I was guilty or anything, And I told the truth the whole time. They asked me where I was at. I was at work. They acted as if I wasn't at work. It was just like they wanted to charge somebody or something for these people. But now I'm finding out that these people were, they're like, they're called CIs, or confidential informants. These people go around and they've been setting up drug dealers, and I wasn't a drug dealer. I worked, for a living, but they set up people for a living. So they were protecting these people and their records and their past histories and stuff like that. So they weren't going to do anything to them anyways. It's a really bad situation I'm in. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've been down for 13 years, and I'll most likely, spend the rest of my life here for a crime that never even happened. And there's no evidence whatsoever. And they know now that they have records showing that all of their witnesses lied. All of the state's witnesses literally got on the stand and lied. And they hid that from my attorney. And now all I need is simply just an attorney to go in, file a motion to preserve the evidence that's been brought up now, and that frees me. But it's like nobody wants to do it. So that's kind of my story. So it's rough. So.
Did you ever try the appellate court?
Yeah, they've got me stuck in the regular courts right now. I've been stuck in this judge's courtroom for 6.5 years.
Oh.
When the case got reopened, yeah, go ahead.
You know what happens when you go to appellate court, eh? If you lose, it's over. You can't do. It's over. You can't do nothing. So that got to watch out, because if you're 100% sure and you got the paperwork showing it and everything, it's wise to go to the appellate court. But
the problem is you can't go to appellate court without. I've actually won 8 out of 9 cases right now, and that's not an exaggeration. I have 8 cases I've won. This is my last case that would set me free. This case right now has the most evidence I've ever seen anywhere. And every time I show somebody, or every time I send like my transcripts to people, nobody can believe it. And they're like, "Oh my God, you have an attorney on your side." Everybody is coming to your defense. If you do not have the record protected, you can't go to the appellate courts. I am the only case in the state of Wisconsin right now that somebody has been stuck in a courtroom on the state level for 6.5 years. Nobody that I could find right now has ever been done that. They have ethically violated just about every rule and regulation they possibly can on my case.
just to make sure that it never goes to the appellate division. Because any judge in the appellate or the Supreme Court or even in the Western District would have already come to my defense and said, yeah, wait a minute. Your whole case was built on circumstantial evidence, and then now you've got all of the state's witnesses are extremely uncredible, and they've been lying, and they have audio recordings, which would be a Brady violation that they hid from my attorney. And now that we have, I mean, that overturns the case right then and there. And they're like, if you don't have it protected, it's as if it didn't happen. Like I said, you can look it up on 4/17/2023. The case number is 17 CF 2770, and it's at 3 p.m. on CCAP, and it clearly shows it was a court hearing, and the judge tells them if they don't file the motions, they'll act as if my issues didn't exist. That just basically means the last 6.5 years didn't exist in the courts. I won't be able to go to the appellate division. I won't be able to go to the Supremes. Nothing. I got to go backwards now and try to go for ineffective assistance for appellate. And I don't have the money to do that either. So it's, it's a bad situation.
Hey, what's going on with the news reporters?
I just spoke. That's weird you say that. I just spoke to Eric and Dylan Brogan about 2 days ago. He said he just finished an article from Arkansas. There was some kind of murder that took place up there, and he says my story's coming up in the next 2 weeks. And he says if he can get his producers and everything to take it on, he said they want to take it on and do like a big thing with Nightline and Nightly News, and they want to do this like really really intense interviews with me and everything else like that. So they have to work with this institution too.
Dude, they gotta, yeah, man, because someone needs to crack open someone needs to crack the lid open on this judge and what's going on at that court, man.
There needs to be a lot of pressure on this attorney, Lisa Goldman, and there needs to be a lot of pressure on this judge. Her name is Ellen Burrs, B-E-R-Z.
Did you say Dateline, or did I misinterpret? See,
it was Dateline. Yep.
Listen, you got to get national for what's going on right now. Man, national attention.
So you think there'd be people like really looking into more of this because there's a lot of innocent people that have come up.
You know what? Kim Kardashian was doing that when Trump was in office, and then Trump was talking about like how he was going to start looking into some of these prison sentences that were doled out. So, but then
he's got blatant corruption. They said they're keeping him in the lower courts for 6 years. He just said it. There's nobody who's in the lower court. This what happens if he could have let's say if she would have just denied him his motions, he would have went to the higher court, and by now at least he would have had an answer. Like from his point of view, he'd be like, "Look, I would have got out by now, right?" But let's say somebody else would say, the cup was half empty. All right, well, fine. You would give him the opportunity to at least have another judge, a higher court. Look at it, and if they denied it, then he could go to another higher court. You just keep going. You just keep going until eventually, if you can get to the Supreme Court, right? And talking about the real one of the land.
If you want to look at it from like you were saying, the glass is half empty or half full, whatever. If I was guilty, this is no joke or anything, no joking around. I would have took the 4-year plea deal that they offered me.
Properly placed attorney calls may be monitored and recorded.
Why would I mean, stop and think about that. If I was 100% guilty, why wouldn't I just take the 4 years? I only would have had to do 2 in. I would have been 2 out, or already been done with. This all would have been done. That was put in the transcripts true as a true statement. When they asked my attorney went on the record. He said, yeah, I still got the paper for that. He said, you guys offered my client 4 years, and he clearly said, I'm innocent. Why would I take 4 years? Now I'm doing life. It doesn't even make sense. How do you offer somebody a 4-year plea deal and then give them life? That shit don't make sense.
That's why, this whole thing with Dateline, gaining national media attention to where you have people that are protesting outside of that courtroom and like, man, and you like go to that lady, go to that judge's. Well, I don't know if you can find this place, but go to like the attorney.
Well, what happened?
Place and
I had that happen one time. So you guys understand that. Sarah Pearson, remember that lady I told you that does movies, that makes movies?
Yeah, well, you got back on her? She's back or what?
Yep. Oh, yeah. She broke her phone. You guys, since everybody breaks their phones, they need to make a phone that's unbreakable. But anyway, she broke her phone. I just got real hold of her and everything, and she said the same thing. She said, look, when she went there with a group of people to be present for me for a hearing. This was a while back. The judge canceled the hearing when they found out they were there. The judge has done this several times in other cases when there were news media and other people out there. I was brought all the way down there, wait to go to the hearing. She's like, not in my courtroom, you ain't. And they were like, this is open records law. You have to allow us in here. And she's like, I ain't gonna do nothing. She says, in my courtroom, it's my rules. So she doesn't even want nobody to even see or hear anything that takes place.
She wants a blanket everything. She wants a blanket.
She did because they've made so many mistakes in my case. It's beyond. And I try to stay humble. Like I said, I went back to helping people and filing motions for other people here and this and that. And I kind of just in a way gave up. Because it's like, what do I do? I'm in about 13, almost 14 years now. It's like 13 and a half years I've been down now. I'm at this last point where I could be out. I done missed most of my kids' life, growing up and everything. I got an elderly mother, who has nobody to take care of her, which is crazier than, just dog shit. It makes me feel horrible. And I'm just like, for what, So these people could steal $16,880 from me.
And now
shit, I might as well give it to him. Here, take it,
Yeah, and now still stole 12 years of his life at least since 2011.
I was making almost $100,000 a year. I had a business, and I was working. I legitimately, you can go on Wisconsin.gov. I owned a recycling and towing company. I was a successful person. I was doing the right shit. I helped people. I did a lot of good, and all of a sudden, this comes up because these people want to scam me, and I've done everything I can to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt that it's not only, these people are scam artists, but then I pointed this out again. It's like, listen, these people just set up a GoFundMe, and they legitimately were lying, saying that their daughter was in Japan. And she was living in Pittsburgh, and I legitimately searched every aspect to make sure I was not incorrect. I had people go over, make sure that it was her, everything. And they were, she's just living in Pittsburgh over in an apartment. But they got this GoFundMe about her living trapped over in Japan without money and this and that. And I'm like, hey, that's fraud. This is what these people do.
I looked up when I first looked up, Richard's GoFundMe page. Mm-hmm. I came across another GoFundMe page with his name.
Yep.
And it was those people. You literally can look up the GoFundMe page. You're gonna find two GoFundMe pages. One's for him and one's for them. What happened is people were sending Richard money, right? Thinking it was for Richard, but it was going to those people.
Mm-hmm. It was going to those other people. This is what I'm saying is no one gets this until they get to the point. And I'm sitting there like I could have had the money to pay for an attorney already now, and I could did it. Instead, these people stole the money and ran off. I can't even
victimizing you and
even in prison
forever. Yeah.
Hey, let's pray for this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, and then man, start calling again, man. We want to get your story out there. We want to get it out there, man. Let's pray real quick. God the Father, in Jesus' name, we ask God the Father that you bless Rich with this opportunity to get help, to get the help that he needs for national media attention, so he can be freed from prison. God the Father, may you seek to be glorified in this and magnified in this, Lord Jesus. And it's in Jesus' name we ask, and we all say amen.
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 Amen. Happy 4th of July, man.
Yeah,
this was our
4th of July,
brother.
This was our 4th of July
if you guys
special.
get a chance, put some comments on that GoFundMe, man. I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, you guys. God bless each and every one of you guys. Eat a brat for me,
because they don't get brats.
Did his submarine just implode?
Yeah. But now the only way you could put money on this GoFundMe page for you guys to know, you got to actually donate. The data comment, you gotta, it's so hot in this room.
I know, I want to.
You got to, that's the only way you got. I was going to put a comment. I was like, man, well, how much should I put down? If I put down $20, it makes me look like, if I put only, this makes me, it's like, dang, man, how do I weigh that? But, he needs help because, it's so hot here. I don't even want to talk no more, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Man,
is that what we're going to do?
I was just like, I love it.
Yeah, we only got 2 minutes left, man. We got We got our inmates that called in.
We had a new one.
Oh yeah, that guy
Ryan.
Ryan. We're gonna feature him this
Ryan.
upcoming week.
All right.
Well,
this is Mike.
This is Ken.
This is Michelle.
And this is Rich.
And
this is
Manwich.
Manwich.